right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. How's everybody doing? Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to hang out, even though you missed the live party. Guys, that is the best part. So make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss another Indian Jesus live party ever again. Let's also say thank you to my6shirt.com. Whatever your persuasion, it's not loaded, but I promise you they have a bunch more stuff. And of course, is the only place to get your very own The Indian Jesus official merch. Only at my6shirt.com. All right. Who is ready to party? Shout out to, what was that? Bridesmaids, right? What is good? We got Lil Toes in the building. We got Joseph in the building. We got Opus in the building. Welcome. An armed society indeed is a polite society. Well said, Opus. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. If you are not familiar with NuanceBro, you should get familiar with NuanceBro, as we are about to. So he usually does, more in-depth kind of man on the street interviews. And so he'll not just like kind of go randomly, but he'll go to a protest or a rally or something like that and ask questions about like, okay, what are we doing here? And he's actually pretty good at balancing the videos that he makes. Like, let's say, he's going to an anti-gun rally, then he'll talk to people who are there to protest for gun control, as well as people who are counter-protesting. So he has, today though, he's got a little bit of a video essay, if we want to call it that. Very, very, very well researched. Definitely go, check out his channel and the rest of his work. But this is the most insane gun control group ever. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
June 5th, 5 a.m., 25,000 white women, state capital, Denver, Colorado, demanding Democratic Governor Jared Polis sign an executive order, buy guns and ban guns and buy them back. Ban guns and buy them back.
So already, I'm up in arms, pun intended. She wants a complete ban on all guns. And hey, they'll buy them back, but no, complete ban.
That's right. Just when you thought anti-gun groups couldn't get any crazier in this country, you now have a group that is calling for a ban on all guns via executive order and to buy them back. Mm-hmm. This is not just assault weapons. This is not just handguns, but we're including hunting rifles, bolt-action rifles, shotguns, presumably revolvers, muzzle loaders, everything. Ban all guns via executive order by the governor of Colorado and buy them back. We're going to get into it because it gets even crazier.
Remember when Obama said, we're not coming for your guns, folks? They are now.
I did a lot of research into this, so stay tuned for that. But first, what would a video about gun control and gun bans be without a pro-gun, gun-related advertisement? SDI is an online school that teaches...
Sorry, pal. Much appreciated on the work. No? Oh, come on.
Now, when I first came across this group, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think it was real. I thought it was an elaborate online troll. As you can see here, I first came across this group on Twitter, where I saw the Firearm Policy Coalition posting about the group, where it says, Mom's group takes on gun reform plans to ask the governor to ban guns.
Hey, we got Melted Mind Media in the building. Welcome to the party, brother. Another awesome YouTuber here doing his thing. Just dropped the link to his channel. Definitely go check that out. Welcome to the party, brother. Said, come and take them from my cold, dead hands. That was, oh man, I can't think of the name. I know it's the NRA guy, but what was it? Ted something. Oh, you know what I mean. Welcome to the party, brother.
And it says, Here for the Kids is a post-pandemic movement that started with a Zoom call, but it's not child's play. Their mission is simple: ban guns. And down below, you can see me say, obvious troll org, any idea who made it, lol. And then one of my subscribers posted, is it though, in response to me, showing a video of Julia Louis-Dreyfus
Julia Louis Dreyfus. It's the S is silent.
Doing a collab with this group. Let's take a look at that.
Hi there, it's Julia. On June 5th in Denver, Here for the Kids is organizing a peaceful sit-in to demand that we stop the #1 killer of kids in this country, guns.
There we go. Ted Nugent. I thought it was going to be, are you sure? No, that's not Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent is the long-haired dude, right? It's the head of the NRA. Probably not currently, but Old Dead Hands NRA. Right? Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This guy. Who are you? Who are you? Charlton Heston. That's what I was thinking of. All right. Charlton Heston. That's where that quote is from. Hey, we got David Banner in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Said, I'm never listening to an actor's political takes. And yeah, it just, you live such a different life than we do, that even if you happen upon the same political position that I hold, probably for the wrong reasons, right?
Thousands have made their plans to be there. Please join the movement to save our kids from gun violence. Thanks.
Now, if you don't know Julia, she is a pretty big star. She was one of the main people on the show Seinfeld, and she was the main character in the hit show Veep, which I'm a big fan of. And
somehow I started Veep. I think multiple times, and I never really got through it. I heard it's really good, but meh.
Funny enough, upon seeing this, I have to admit, I still didn't believe it. I thought, oh my God, as you can see in this tweet, oh my God, she fell for it. Here's another celebrity endorsement, this time from talk show host Chelsea Handler.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Handler, and I am here for the kids. It is time to end the nightmare of guns, which is the #1 killer of kids in America.
As long as you count 20-year-olds as kids.
We, the people, demand our government to act. Check comments for more information.
So I started doing some more digging into this group, and oh my God, I found out they were serious. I found out who their founder was. Their founder is Sarah Rao. As you can see,
Sarah Rao. Now it's funny because there was a girl that I went to high school with who has a similar name, Sarah, and similar to the last name. And I thought like they were saying her. I was like, that's what she's been up to. But apparently not. And yeah, of course, when she does the video, birds chirping in the background, but close up, so we don't get to see her large estate. They learned during the Rona thing where they're like, we all just have to stay home. We're all in this together. Lupita, make sure the pool boy, like, come on. Opus says, I think there should be free training and licensing for all women if they want to carry. Then if you want to appease the equality people, then for men too. Well, I mean, I would be open to that conversation. When we're talking about free anything, nothing is free. So who is paying for it and what? That is something I would be willing to, if they are going to take my taxes, that is definitely something I'd be willing to be taxed for. But men are definitely getting it too, for sure.
Here on the Here for the Kids website, Sarah Rao, founder. Tina Strawn, founder. So who is Sarah Rao? Well, Sarah Rao is the individual you saw at the intro of this video, the one who talked about the goal being to ban guns via executive order and buy them back. And I don't want to get into all the history. Of course, she ran for Congress. She was endorsed by the Justice Democrats. If you remember, that's the group that also backed Ilhan Omar, AOC, established by Cenk Uygur, Kyle Kulinski, and these other folks. Of course, they later kicked out Cenk Uygur for certain reasons, of course. But if there's anybody that you could pick in the world to embody the worst of wokeness, the most memeable, most radical version that you almost wouldn't even be able to believe is real of wokeness, it would be Sarah Rao. This is someone who unironically tweets things like this. Okay. What is it with white people coming here to say posts about racism and whiteness are not appropriate for LinkedIn? 1, racism is the bedrock of every American workplace. 2, Black, Indigenous, and brown people spend a large chunk of each workday trying to survive white colleagues.
Survive? I think this is more of an issue with your workplace than with white people.
White people have done everything to make my life miserable, yet I'm supposed to not hate white people? Question mark. By the way, I'm sure there's a ton more, but unfortunately a while back she deleted her Twitter. It doesn't exist anymore. But
why.
Don't worry, she's still very active in the political scene. Now, what Syra Rao is probably most known for is her venture with Regina Jackson, known as Race to Dinner. Now, here's the thing. I could
Race to Dinner? What? That is the cringiest name I've ever heard. Race to Dinner. The only thing worse I think I've ever heard is drag your kids to Pride.
Explain what Race to Dinner is to you guys, but just to show you how crazy far left and insane this concept and this lady is.
I would imagine that it has something to do with a dinner to raise money for BIPOCs, and like maybe it's only the white people have to pay or something like that, and definitely a struggle session somewhere in there.
I'm actually going to get Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks, who's we've also seen has been pretty crazy on some issues, though she's been getting a bit better in recent times.
True. Shout out to Anna. If she's going to get red pilled, we'll take her, but you got to be real.
I'm going to get her to explain what Race to Dinner is.
After George Floyd's murder, as companies face pressure to demonstrate a commitment to racial justice, interest in diversity, equity, and inclusion exploded. The American market reached an estimated $3.4 billion in 2020 alone.
Hey, we got Ziggs in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party, Ziggs. Ziggs says corporations have way too much political influence. Facts. Let's see what they're using it for here.
Take Syra Rao and Regina Jackson as just one example. They run a business called Race to Dinner, and wealthy white women across the country pay them handsomely to come to their dinner parties to bash the host and her white friends as
Told ya.
Racist. They do this without knowing anything about the dinner guests, without ever having interacted with them. All they know about these individuals is the color of their skin, and automatically they assume these white women have anti-black prejudice in their hearts. How much do they charge? Well, if you ask me, a lot.
Ooh, somebody put in the chat how much you think it costs to go to Race to Dinner, and they will, it's basically paying to get roasted based on nothing but your skin color. I would say for something like this, because you know the plates are usually super expensive. Multiply Media says 120. No, it's definitely got to be more than that. I'm gonna say 500. I'm gonna say 500. Anyone else got a guess before we move on? Anyone else? 25. Oh hell no, hell no. What did you just say? What did you just say? They are 25K. Okay, I was like, what are you talking? That sounds a little bit more in line. And which is ridiculous. Joseph says 500. That's where I'm at, and definitely is. And Dave Banner says 1K. All right, let's see. Thank you for finally answering my questions, guys. I really do appreciate that.
Each dinner party initially cost $2,500 total, but the rate increased to $5,000 in 2020. Gee, I wonder why. The funds cover a 2-hour dinner, which includes support from Race to Dinner's business developer, planning, travel for Jackson and Rao, and when applicable, a post-event consultation. The cost of food was not included in the original dinner party.
So you have to pay, well, last year it was $2,500. Now it's $5,000. And she aptly said, well, I wonder why. Clearly they figured the grift. And that doesn't even include the food. That's just the berating. That is what you are paying for. Hey, we got Mark Peterson in the building. Welcome to the party. As you know, every single super chat comes with a treat for Morty. Thank you, Mark. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Let me get that banner for you.
This is the perfect example of a DEI-related grift that allows economically privileged women to engage in performative acts to feel like they're doing their part to fight racism. Of course, they're not actually doing anything to fight racism at all. And if they want to pay for that, great. But the Race to Dinner ladies have also published books and even put out a movie called Deconstructing Karen.
Surprise, surprise. And like I said, they found the grift. Open said, if you really want to give disadvantaged people a leg up without being racist, then just have policies implemented by income. Pretty simple, right? Just treat everybody the same.
As a result,
or not everybody the same, but you know what I mean. I'm agreeing with you.
their simplified portrayal of white women seeps into the public consciousness and discourse. Their words, as void of evidence as they may be, are treated as fact.
Actually, no, I disagree. I was gonna say yes, but it's the inverse. It's the inverse. It's the Karen is somebody who feels entitled and that they can do no wrong and that everything they say is right. This is actually the inverse. This is the people who have done nothing wrong, but they're paying $5,000 plus the cost of food to go get berated by black people. Okay.
But don't worry, they also think immigrants to America are automatically anti-black racist as well.
Syra will generally say that she is anti-black and everybody will pivot towards me. And I go, well, and black people know it. The gig is up. We know that every person who comes to this country as an immigrant believes themselves to be better than us.
Based on what?
Wait, so that was one of the people putting on the event talking about how, sorry, what the hell did we just watch?
And I is
anti-black. But don't worry, they also think immigrants to America are automatically anti-black racist as well.
So I think this is, so I don't see a name or anything here. But I think this was not the Sarah chick, but the other chick that runs Race to Dinner.
Syra will generally say that she is anti-black. And everybody will pivot towards me. And I go, well, and black people know it. The gig is up. We know.
Jig is up.
That every person who comes to this country as an immigrant believes themselves to be better than us.
Based on what? What evidence is there that immigrants come into the country and automatically see themselves as higher up the food chain or the hierarchy than black people? There's no evidence.
Hey, if this is the arc that Anna is on, I am here for it.
Evidence of that.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. Great job to Anna Kasparian. She explained the situation with Race to Dinner fantastically. Yeah, so it's basically this group. They bring all these white women across the table, and these white women pay Sarah Rao and her buddy Regina Jackson thousands of dollars to just basically berate them about how racist they are and how much white privilege that they have.
Can you imagine? I'm just trying to like put myself in the mind of somebody who would go to that. Like, you definitely have to be horribly brainwashed, obviously. But I don't. What do you think that's doing? Who are you helping? So if not Karen, then just your classic mother's meeting. Fair enough. David said, this is womanish. I'm sorry, but a bunch of hens guilt tripping each other is negative 200 IQ activities. Agreed there as well. And that's why I'm like, what are you guys trying to do here? Like, I get that your white guilt is raging. But that's it? Like, you let some black people yell at you and now it's okay to be racist?
What?
I'm not joking. That's a real thing. You can see on their website right now, this is 2023 dinner 1 of 4, 2 of 4, and they're all sold out. We got
so there's 4
Austin, Texas,
ones.
Denver, Colorado, Palm Beach, Florida, Los Angeles, California, all sold out. Now, the interesting thing is, if you go to the Race to Dinner Twitter page, now this is Race to Dinner, this is their Twitter page. If you scroll down, you can see, oh, look, here's the Julia Louis-Dreyfus tweet about the guns are the #1 killer of the kids and all that stuff. You scroll down again and you see this tweet from Yvette Nicole Brown saying Samira Rao wants to use the power of white women to repeal the Second Amendment. So you can see they're using the business Twitter of their Race to Dinner to promote their other venture, which is this Here for the Kids gun control group. I don't even know if I can call it a gun control group since they literally just want to ban on all guns. What's the control? They want to ban all guns. So
that's true. That's true. You can't really call it gun control if you're not controlling for anything. You're just getting rid of everything.
That's interesting. But when you take a look at the group Here for the Kids that founded by Sarah Rao and all that, You can see where a lot of this woke language that she uses in her race to dinner meetings and things like that, it seeps into this group as well. In fact, it's kind of foundational to the group and their identity and their message.
And what else have we, like, is this the first time you've heard about, you know, some weird ideology seeping into other places? This is the goal. This is the plan to feed these seeds of racism and systemic this and wokeness that, and then they grow organically into people who actually believe this stuff and are not part of the grift, but they actually believe that they deserve to spend $5,000 plus the cost of dinner to go get yelled at.
Take a look at this post, for example, on their Instagram page, where it says ban guns and buy them back. Pretty simple. And if we scroll down, we can see this. Here for the Kids is calling on Colorado Governor Jared Polis to sign an executive order to ban guns and implement a statewide buyback program. To achieve this goal, we are organizing a sit-in of 25,000 plus white women from around the country on Monday, June 5th at 5 a.m. in Denver, Colorado.
5 a.m.? I mean, white guilt goes far, but 5 a.m.?
This is a national movement with a state focus. Colorado is step one. We are respectfully asking white women to put their bodies on the ground for this direct action, as marginalized communities have always done and continue to do, as we prioritize the safety of historically marginalized and vulnerable populations such as BIPOC, LGBTQIA+, non-citizens, and disabled folks whose bodies are often on the front lines fighting for human and civil rights. We invite white women to participate in this act of civil disobedience.
This is insane. This is insane. What's I'm not familiar with the Geneva. I mean, I'm familiar with the Geneva Convention. What's the effect? What's the Geneva Convention effect? Never heard of that one.
So first of all, 25,000 plus white women, June 5th at 5 in the morning. I'm not buying it. If I see that, listen, I don't know. What should we do? Should we I'll tell you what. If there are 25,000 plus white women at the Capitol in Denver, Colorado on June 5th at 5 in the morning.
All right, let's make it fun. He's going to do something. So if there's 25,000 people there, then he's going to do something which he hasn't told us yet. What should I do? I'll do something special if the buyback comes and there's 25,000 white women laying on the ground at 5 in the morning. What should I do? I will donate $100 to some gun place. I don't know.
I got it. Here's what I'll do. I will literally sell one of my guns at the gun buyback in Houston, Texas, coming up here in the next week or so.
That's cooler than mine. I don't have any guns to give away, but if I did, that would be high stakes.
So if there are 25,000 plus white women at the Capitol in Denver, Colorado on June 5th at 5 in the morning, I will give up one of my guns at the gun buyback coming up soon. Now, if those...
Hey, we got Lil Toes back in the building. What's good? He said, I mean, in my shitty 12 gauge sells for $1 million. Hey, that's exactly. So did you, are you the one that hit the poll on depends on the money? Because that's a legit question. That's a legit question. How much are they going to pay you for your gun?
Numbers aren't the case, which I highly doubt those numbers will be the case. I can't imagine. First of all, again, 25,000 plus people, period. That's hard to get anywhere.
It's 5
now you're
in the
limiting
morning.
it to women, white women at 5 in the morning on a Monday. Who wants to get up on a Monday morning, 5 in the morning? I mean, people have to work typically. I don't know. Like, you can see why I thought this was a troll in the beginning. Now, if those numbers aren't met, if there aren't 25,000 plus white women at the Capitol in Denver, Colorado at 5 in the morning, how about you support your bro, NuanceBro, at nuancebro.com/join. Become a member, support the show.
Speaking of memberships, you can now become an Indian Jesus disciple. You can become a member of the channel. Join now. The button is somewhere down there.
Really helps out. So we can
$2.99 a month.
Go fly out and do things like cover this event and make more videos like this. Also, if you guys can at this point in the video, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us in the algorithm, really helps push this video out.
Actually, you guys are at 100%. Thank you for the likes, guys.
And leave a comment down below. Do you think there's going to be the 25,000 plus white women at the Capitol June 5th in Denver, Colorado at 5 in the morning? Let me know, because I'm highly skeptical, but I want to know.
Shout out to Opus and all the members who have joined.
What you guys think down in the comments below. Now, in recent weeks, as this event comes to a head, it's getting closer and closer. Local media and even some national media have been covering this event. And of course, we're not going to go through all the coverage, but there's some particular ones I want to highlight because they are hilarious. This was from the local Fox affiliate, Fox 31, Colorado's very own. And it says, parents join Here for the Kids campaign to ban guns in Colorado.
Yeah, the goal is to get 25,000 women here to the state capitol on June 5th.
You can take all the guns I have, girl.
Want Governor Polis to sign an executive order banning sales of guns here in Colorado, but opponents say it's unconstitutional.
Knocking on door.
Hi there.
After door.
We are with Here for the Kids. We are an anti-gun violence group.
To gain support.
Maybe we go on that side.
The organization Here for Kids wants to recruit 25,000 women for a
go.
sit-in at the state capitol on.
Oh, I gotta get that sound. Okay, hold on. I gotta make a note. Okay. Good call, Opus. Adding that to the soundboard.
June 5th. The goal to get Governor Jared Polis to sign an executive order to ban guns and start a statewide buyback program.
There's not going to be marching. There's not going to be chanting. There's not going to be speakers. This is solemn. This is grieving. This is healing.
Maybe there might not be marching on your side, but I can guarantee you there will be people marching to oppose you. Wilto says, so what are they doing with the guns? I don't really, that's a good question. I think they generally they want to melt down the metal. The plastic parts, I don't really know. And then I'm sure like the more rare guns they would want to have like kept somewhere. But I don't know. That's a good question. That is a good question. Does anyone know what they did in Australia? That might be a good question, though.
This is us just sitting and just saying, this is our last ditch effort to save our kids.
You fail!
Sarah Rao co-founded the organization in March after the school shooting in Nashville.
There's literally nobody in this country who wants to get shot shopping at H&M.
Okay. I was going to say, be very careful when you said there's not one person, but okay, I'll agree with you there.
There's literally nobody in this country who wants to drop their kid off at school and have them killed at school.
A
Obviously not, but that's not really the whole story, is it? Oh, it says, I'm old enough to remember the assault rifle ban of the 80s. I think they will definitely try that again. Do you? I don't know. I feel like I feel like the shock and awe of the school, school pew-pewings. Obviously, we're going to be saying guns a lot, so it doesn't really matter. Morty, out of there. Why does he always love to go by the wires? But I think the shock of like, oh, this happened, and now we need to ban all guns. That line of thinking is it isn't necessarily as strong as when it used to be. Well, let's keep that guy out of office then, because I mean, I've only maybe just in the last 5-6 years become somebody who's actually understood, what guns are even for. We did that. Biden definitely always wants his ice cream. I've just only recently learned about why guns are important in a social and political manner. Before that, I was, your average normie who didn't pay attention, default liberal, and I was like, oh, people get killed by guns, so they must be bad, right? There's no other way to think about that.
Person from the governor's office said in a statement, the governor supports the right to peacefully demonstrate and these individuals' calls to improve safety and prevent gun violence. Their specific request for an executive order banning all guns would simply be unconstitutional.
I just have to stop it right there because that is hilarious. The governor actually came out, gave this group attention, and said, yeah, I know you guys are coming to the Capitol to tell me to do this. Shut up! this crazy order, but yeah, it's plainly unconstitutional. This is the Democratic governor of Colorado who just passed gun control, I think yesterday, banning ghost guns or whatever in the state of Colorado. I mean,
yeah, we're not talking about Ted Nugent. We're not talking about Wayne LaPierre. We're not talking about John Wayne. We are talking about the current Democratic governor of Colorado. Like, come on. Wilto says, you know, the French self defense laws, they are BS. Can't even defend your knife, your knife with a life. That's crazy. You can't even defend your life with a knife. So what happens if somebody's running at you with a weapon and you're in a corner? You're just supposed to die?
What?
Fucking France, man.
I mean, this is no pro-gun guy. He's an anti-gun Democrat governor of Colorado. And even he is saying this is plainly unconstitutional. We can't do this, so we're not going to do this. No way. But watch this. This is the icing on the cake.
Despite this message from the governor's office, Rao is confident the sit-in will bring change.
This is new. They've never seen it before, and I wholeheartedly believe that they're going to do it. I wouldn't be standing here if I didn't believe it with all of my heart and soul.
So you're telling me that the thing that you believe, even though people have told you that it's not so, is causing you to do these things that a rational person wouldn't do. Okay, just wanted to make sure we're talking about the same thing we always talk about. Dogma.
So that's just priceless. Even after the governor comes out with the own and says, hey, this is plainly unconstitutional. We're not going to do it, what you're asking for, this executive order to ban all guns. Are you crazy? What are you talking about? She still comes out and says, I believe he's going to do it. I believe he's going to pass this executive order to ban all guns. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't be here. I believe it with all my heart. You know, this is not Dragon Tales where you can wish with all your heart.
I wish with all my heart.
He's like, this is not Dragon Tales where you can wish. You can wish. That was good. That was good. Opus says, I'm a Constitution absolutist. Yeah! I don't even think states should be able to pass local legislation that goes against the Constitution. I tend to agree with you. I do think there is value in you know, local ordinances and stuff, but generally, yeah, going against the Constitution, not helpful to anybody. Zig says guns shouldn't be easier than alcohol to get, though. Why not? Which one of them is in the Constitution? Mm-hmm.
To the fly with dragons in a land apart.
And actually, more people die from alcohol than guns anyway. I could be pulling that out of my ass, but I mean, what's the difference?
By the way, how many times have gun owners heard this phrase? Hey, don't worry. Nobody's coming to take your guns. Nobody's coming for your guns. Nobody's coming for your guns.
The notion that
this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Or Hillary or Democrats or whoever you want to choose are hell-bent on taking away folks' guns. Is just not true.
In fact, related to this note, there is a very popular group on Instagram known as the Progressivists. As you can see here, the Progressivists has 842,000 followers on Instagram. And one of their first stories over here, you can see it's the effing guns. If we go to their link tree, we can see their first link is Here for the Kids, the movement to end gun violence.
Notice how they all everything about this is framed in the context of it's about the kids. When again, if we actually look at the numbers, then it's if you count 17 and younger as children, which still at 17, let's just say I would really because when we have to think about gang violence. That's where the overwhelming majority of gun violence occurs amongst gangs. And so gang activity can start early. So yes, it is the largest cause of a death for children. But that's such a twist on the truth. While it is a fact, it doesn't represent the reality of what they are trying to push. Opus said there are laws in place regulating the age of gun ownership. Yep. And that is baseless. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Don't we all love them guns? But the thing is, Ziggs, like, this is exactly like saying, I like a car, but those car accidents are tough. Indeed they are. And should we ban Cars too? Not the movie Cars 2.
They also have a link to Gun Control Support
Bingo.
Moms Demand Action,
Bingo.
a separate gun control organization. They have a link to Sarah Rao and Regina Jackson's book called White Women, which you can see here, called White Women, Everything You Already Know About Your Own Racism and How to Do Better.
Jesus. Everything you already know about your own racism and how to do better. Okay, just do better. Great.
As a white woman tier.
Right. I didn't even see that. Look at this. Ah, the white woman tears. That's hilarious.
Right there on the front of the cover. And they got a Stop the NRA link as well. So this group is pretty invested in gun control. Now,
hey, we got Lars and Rude in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Are you from Canada? Shout out to anybody who is from Canada. The entire sky was yellow or like orange today in central New Jersey. Last night I could smell the smoke when I was walking Morty, and I just figured, that there was a building on fire, a couple blocks away or something. Ontario? That's crazy. Shout out to anybody in Canada. Please stay safe. Welcome to the party, Lars and Rude. Opus says there is no age for alcohol consumption in the Constitution. True. This is the problem. People are uneducated. Exactly. Isn't that always the issue? Isn't it always?
Now, when we go to the Progressivists website and we go to their social media team page, we can see Joe Lorenz is the co-founder along with her husband, Will Lorenz. And we got this chick, Sadia.
He said Joe Lorenz, and I was thinking Taylor Lorenz.
Mirza. She is the senior editor at the Progressivists.
Okay.
Now, she recently appeared on an episode of a podcast called Cocktails and Capitalism. The title of the podcast was America's Gun Violence Epidemic with Sadia Mirza. And the host discusses with her this myth that Democrats want to take away your guns.
This is a good point to kind of pivot to talking about a lot of the myths surrounding gun laws and gun restrictions and gun violence in America. You did a really fantastic job of kind of listing out a whole bunch of these myths and addressing them. So I really want to dive into it first, just talking about the myth that the Democrats and that we are coming for your guns.
Yeah, and they always forget that people on the left, a lot of them do have, I'm not counting myself because I do not, but a lot of people on the left do value their Second Amendment rights, and they are armed. They just aren't out blaring that they're doing it. And we've never come for your guns. We've never taken away your guns. Liberals, leftists, progressives, Democrats have never taken away your guns.
Haven't you know? Pretty sure there's a bunch of illegal weapons. And it certainly wasn't Republicans, was it?
But your guns have taken away our children. So there's only one perpetuated fact here, is that there's only one side that's constantly taking, and the other side that is literally doing nothing.
So
projection. There's one side that's always taking, and the other side that is literally doing nothing. Now, of course, she's supposed to be. She's acting like the Democrats aren't stepping up for her, and that the Republicans are evil. But really, it's just in every other context, the Democrats are trying to take from all of us, and it's the Republicans are doing absolutely nothing.
Isn't that funny? This girl who apparently, nobody wants to take your guns. We don't want to take your guns. The Democrats don't want to take your guns. It's just you guys who your guns take lives away from us, but we never do anything against you guys. We, a lot of the people on the left, we love the guns, whatever. It was Second Amendment. But now they're involved and promoting this event and working together, cross-posting, promoting the posts together. You can see this post.
Yeah, and Opus says, women need guns. It is the great equalizer. Change my mind. guns and short people. Absolutely. There is no other way that I would be able to protect myself and eventually, hopefully, my family. Because I'm just a small dude and I work out all night and day for 15, 20 years, and I'm still gonna be a tiny dude.
On the progressivist page, for example, where it says, if you want to do more than empathize, please follow and support Here for the Kids action. We need to prove to these people that we see them and will fight for them. Join Here for the Kids action to stand up for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and for the
except for the liberty to own guns, right?
Neglected rights of so many people. So they're not coming for your guns, except they support an organization that is coming for your guns, and their literal explicit mission is to ban all guns and mandatory buy them back.
Oh, that's exactly the same thing.
Via executive order. Now we have to get to the best.
Not even through like not a bill that somebody's pushing, not something that we can vote on. Executive order. Just no more guns.
Interview of all. This is, of course, Sarah Rao on The Readout on MSNBC with Joy Reid.
And I just want to point out before they get to that we have to realize that, you know, the push to want to make all guns illegal like that is going to turn law-abiding citizens en masse into felons. To have this kind of legislation would turn hundreds of thousands of regular ass people, law-abiding citizens, instantly into felons. How is that good for anybody?
Thank you both very much. And Syra, I am just going to give you the floor and let you explain to me your radical idea for what we can actually do about this nonsense.
Right. I mean, if what's her face? What's her name? Something Reed? Tara? Not Tara Reid. Whatever. If she's calling it radical, you know it's radical.
It's actually not that radical.
Isn't it though?
Joy, you know what I would argue is radical is that we have grown accustomed to dropping our kids off at school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And not knowing if they're going to come back alive. Going to the grocery store and not knowing if we're going to get assassinated. Going to the mall and getting murdered.
Can you imagine being this? Like, yes, those things can happen. But can you imagine thinking that that's your primary thought of what's going to happen today? Oh, I have to go to the supermarket. Probably going to get assassinated. What must it be like to go through life thinking that way? That is insane.
That's radical. What we are proposing is banning guns and buying them back. That's sensible.
So right off.
She says sensible. But yes, Little Toe is another good point here. And how would they even manage to try to take the guns from us? They would go door to door and say, you know, we know that you have these guns. We are here to take them. You can either give them to us and we will give you like a tax voucher or something like that, or we can take you with them. That's what a buyback means.
Off the bat, that's pretty wild. She says, banning guns and buying them back, that's sensible. Words don't mean anything, apparently. I guess asking for an executive order that the governor already told you, the Democrat anti-gun governor, by the way, already told you is plainly unconstitutional. It's sensible to demand that he ban all guns via executive order and buy them back.
Yep, that's all it is. Fear-mongering. They know it's statistically more probable to be struck by lightning. It's lip service. Lip service.
Literally violates the Second Amendment, the Constitution. That's sensible because words don't mean anything.
Guns are the #1 killer of kids in America.
Up to 20 years old. Most of them being gang members. Getting killed by other gang members.
Sit with that. Sit with that. Guns are the #1 killer of children in America.
If you count, up to 20.
And folks are saying it's
Need I continue?
Radical to ban guns. No.
Yep, it is.
It's actually radical that we've decided to live with this.
No, so let's no. You are radical.
Start with this first claim. Are guns the #1 killer of kids in America? Well, it depends what you classify as kids. For example, if infants are included, rankings of the leading causes of death for children up to age 18 change. Congenital abnormalities are the leading cause of death in infants and surpass the number of firearm deaths among all children up to age 18.
Wow. So yet another caveat on this number one killer of children in America. So what are the ages then? You're going up to 20, but you're not including infants?
What?
What is your definition of a child then? Talk about semantic obfuscation. A child is whatever we need it to be to make sure that we can take your guns. Liberalism.
In 2020, there were 4,403 deaths from congenital abnormalities, 3,141 deaths from short gestation or preterm birth and low birth weight, and 1,389 deaths from sudden infant death syndrome. There were 11 infant deaths caused by a firearm in 2020. So if we count a child as anybody under the age of 18, and we're including infants in there,
then you just lied, lady.
Then this is a false stat. Now, if you narrow the parameters to ages 1 through 17, then yes, firearms are the leading cause of death among children. And of course, they're not counting abortion in this either because they don't believe that constitutes a child or a life or whatever.
Oops. Yet another caveat. So you have to take out the infants. I mean, maybe the understanding that I had that they counted up to 20 years old, maybe that's incorrect. I don't know. But fine, let's say that. But you have to discount abortions. You have to discount infants. I don't know why you would, but there you go. There you go. Just lies after lies after lies after lies after lies.
So abortion numbers are out the window, and those would by far be the biggest number. But we'll get back to these stats in a bit.
Enough. Bulletproof backpacks? That's radical. What's sensible? Ban guns and buy them back, and that's what Here for the Kids is doing.
So we know that Australia did that, and after one mass shooting, but in the but they don't have a.
Remember that a mass shooting is 3 or more people injured, and some people will sometimes they'll say 4, but 3 to 4 people injured. Sometimes they'll even say 3 or 4 people killed. Different numbers, semantic obfuscation, whatever works, but. When you think mass shooting, you don't think 3 people. Again, we're talking about gang shootouts.
A thing called the Second Amendment. And I'm just going to put it up on screen. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And we know that that was passed because of fear of rebellions, right? Fear of rebellions, and that
well, self-defense, but okay, sure.
Regulated part, well-regulated, implies the government can regulate arms. But the Constitution says people have a right to have them. How can you ban something that's in the Constitution as something people have a right to have?
Let's just leave it.
Well, let's talk about the Second Amendment.
Let's.
Second Amendment, in reality, actually, fear of rebellion by whom? By
anybody. Specifically a tyrannical government, but anybody. And you're specifically trying to sick a tyrannical government on the people who have those guns. So exactly you. That's what it says in the Second Amendment. You are allowed to have your guns in case of people like that.
By enslaved people. That's why we have the Second Amendment.
And people in Massachusetts, because there were 2 rebellions by white folks as well. So rebellions, period.
Sure. But read The Second by Carol Anderson. It's a beautiful book. We have the Second Amendment because of white supremacy and anti-blackness.
What?
We have... Okay. I am speechless. I do not have. I do not know what to say. Let's just run the tape one more time.
Because there were 2 rebellions by white folks as well. So rebellions.
Sure. But read The Second by Carol Anderson. It's a beautiful book. We have the Second Amendment because of white supremacy and anti-blackness.
Who is this person? What kind of life do you live where this is how your mind works?
Give slave owners the right to massacre their enslaved people. So we have it, white supremacy, anti-blackness, proliferation of guns since 1791 when it was ratified. White people buy guns en masse when they get super scared by people who look like you and me. These are facts. Google it.
Okay, let's Google it. Why do people buy... Oh, people... Come on. People buy guns. Let's see what Google has to say. Nope, nothing about white supremacy. Protect their families. Okay, that makes sense. The cons. Oh, potential misuse. True. Nothing about white supremacy. Sorry. Hey, and Lars and Rude with the $5 super chat. Morty, you gotta come up here to get it. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Morty, you're losing us money. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's go. There you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lars and Rune. Oh, let's get him on camera there. So cute, so good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Says, hard to believe she thinks her proposed gun ban is legal and possible. Just a money grift on her part. That's a good point. She probably doesn't have any real belief that this is going to change anything, but she's on MSNBC. She's raising all this money. She's doing all this this stuff. So it's working. It is working. Good point. Let me change the banner because you are now the new sponsor of the stream.
Obama, Ferguson, George Floyd, 9/11, COVID-19.
I wish I knew she was going to do that. Oh my God.
That's part 2. Number 3, guns are now the #1 killer of kids in America, including white kids. 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. White supremacy is now the #1.
Oh my God. Hold on. We gotta take this bit by bit. Let me get Lars and Arun up in the banner here. Boom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One more time. Let's get a couple others comments here. Yeah, should be scared of her. Zig says the anti-gun is silent when it comes to Wuhan and 42 boosters. Yep. So when's she gonna address protecting ourselves and our family? Never. Born housewife. Yep. Yeah. I mean that. Wow. I can't. I don't know what to do with this lady. So let's go through this piece by piece because she's doing some math here and might be CRT math.
Facts. Google it. Obama, Ferguson, George Floyd, 9/11, COVID-19. That's
BLM. The Chaz. I mean, come on. We could all just list things from the other side that we don't like.
Part 2. Number 3, guns are now the #1 killer of kids in America, including white kids.
Okay, so she had to say including white kids because we know that nobody cares about dying children unless they're white. Actually, scratch that because we love to kill kids before they're born, but we're just talking about kids after they're born. All right.
1 + 2 + 3 = 4.
1 + 2 + 3 does not equal 4. Am I stupid? She said 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. 1 + 2 = 3 + 3 = 6. Am I retarded?
One killer of kids in America, including white kids. 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. White supremacy is now the #1 killer of all kids in America.
That is insane. She just said that on national TV and on the news. You can't even do basic math, and I'm supposed to listen to you about how to run the country? Yeah, right. Math is racist. This is insane, this lady.
Including white kids. I'm ready to get rid.
Yeah, and that part, including white kids, guys, because I know you don't care unless it's white kids, even though most of the people who watch this channel definitely aren't white. Actually, that's not true.
Of the Second Amendment. I think it's wild that people would prefer to protect an amendment, a racist amendment from 1791.
Whoa. Yes, I am willing to protect that amendment. How was it racist again? Oh yeah, you lied about slavery. Okay, gotcha.
Over their own children.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, they talk about the Second Amendment. Joy Reid already gets it wrong, saying, well, the well-regulated part implies that the government can regulate it, like using this modern interpretation of what the word regulate means, which is
AKA semantic obfuscation.
Not what it meant at the time of ratification, but whatever. We're not going to get too into the weeds on that. But they both talk about the Second Amendment being state militias' abilities to put down rebellions. Joy Reid mentions the rebellions from white people, assuming she's talking about the Shays Rebellion and Whiskey Rebellion, which are some of the most famous ones.
I thought she was talking about January 6th.
But Sarah Rao talks about, this was actually, the purpose was to put down slave rebellions. And that was a big part about why the Second Amendment came into being.
Thank you,
and she mentions this
Much
book
appreciated.
by Carol Anderson called The Second. Now, Carol Anderson's book, The Second, is kind of reminiscent of the 1619 Project, a project which many mainstream historians disagree with and say is not historically accurate.
Just another retelling, a reimagining, just like The Little Mermaid, where fair skin can mean black. Okay. Yeah. No. Reality doesn't matter. Truth isn't a thing. Words don't have meanings.
Similarly, with The Second, it's not really based in historical fact.
It is based, though.
Stephen Hallbrook, a historian himself who's written extensively on the Second Amendment, has some thoughts of his own on this matter. As you can see here from the Independent Institute, the Second Amendment was adopted to protect liberty, not slavery, a reply to Professors Bogus and Anderson. So the idea that the Second Amendment was designed to protect slavery and put down slave rebellions, this was first published by Professor Carl Bogus in a 1998 Law Review article.
But how many people do you think heard her say that and didn't think twice about anything else, and now they think like, oh yeah, it was for the slave owners, and that's the only reason that we have guns. And even though we got rid of slaves so long ago that we would keep the guns, and people still want the guns, and it has somehow something to do with white supremacy.
What?
Article called The Hidden History of the Second Amendment. His basic argument is that the amendment was adopted so that the southern states could maintain militias to suppress slave rebellions. New life was given to the thesis by Professor Carol Anderson in her 2021 book, The Second, which asserts that the amendment was, quote, not some hallowed ground, but rather a bribe paid again with black bodies. As Bogus concedes, no direct evidence supports the thesis. Instead, historical fact refutes it.
Oh, that means it's a lie. That means it's bullshit.
The predecessor of the amendment was the English Declaration of Rights of 1689, which protected the rights of Protestants to have arms. England had no domestic slave population. The slave plantations of England were in other countries, not in England itself. Beginning in 1776, some states adopted Bill of Rights that recognized the right to bear arms. 3 of them were northern states that abolished slavery. When the federal constitution was proposed in 1787, it was criticized for a lack of Bill of Rights. Demands for recognition of the right to bear arms emanated from anti-federalists, including abolitionists in the northern states, while several southern states ratified without demanding amendments at all. New Hampshire, whose Bill of Rights was read to abolish slavery, was the first state to ratify the Constitution and demand a prohibition on the disarming of citizens. And I don't want to read the whole article. You can read it yourself if you want.
But it wasn't about slaves.
Stephen Hallbrook is an amazing resource. He wrote multiple books like The Right to Bear Arms, Gun Control in Nazi-Occupied France, Gun Control in the Third Reich, the Founders' Second Amendment, and that.
I literally covered. Where are we? I literally did a reaction to that yesterday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? But good video. Check it out.
That every man be armed. You can see the books here. So this seems to undercut the idea that the Second Amendment was some sort of weapon of white supremacy to keep black people enslaved, put down slave rebellions, and that it's actually bad for black people. In fact, the real weapon, if you want to say, of white supremacy or to keep black people down was gun control, not the Second Amendment. In fact, Carol Anderson writes about such prohibitions in her book, but I guess Sarah Rao has an agenda to push, so she's not going to highlight that aspect. Now, she made the point that white people en masse, when things happen, then they're reacting or scared of black people, they buy a lot more guns. They buy all the guns, and this is shown, we've seen it. So that's how you know it's a tool of white supremacy. Well, here's the interesting data. Here you can see from Axios, April 23rd, 2022, why more people of color are buying guns. By the numbers, the initial surge in firearms purchases was in part driven by the pandemic as fear and uncertainty set in, according to Mark Oliva, spokesperson for the Firearms.
And obviously, as a non-white, it's not really, as powerful to see these numbers and to be talking about these numbers. But this is why the entire notion of racializing everything is just silly. It's more than anything else, it is silly. It's just silly. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't advance the conversation. It doesn't solve any problems. It just gets people angry. There's no other purpose. It just gets people angry. And whether you hate guns or love guns, ideally, you're coming to the table with the desire of having less people die from guns. And everything that we know says the way to do that is more guns. Even if you want to make the argument that we have too many guns and we're a culture of guns and this, that, and the other, fine, you can make that argument. But then we're a nation of guns and we have a gun culture, so you're not getting rid of it. So either way you cut it, more guns.
From Industry Trade Association, National Shooting Sports Foundation, retailer surveys conducted by NSSF showed that between 2019 and 2020, there was a 58% increase in African Americans buying guns, 49% increase in Hispanic Americans buying guns, 43%
Oh no, my button's not working.
increase
God
in Asian Americans buying firearms. These rates of increase remained unchanged between 2020 and 2021 among nearly 60% of retailers. And if you want to talk about the first half of 2020, I mean, we're talking peak COVID here. We're talking about the George Floyd riots. If you want to see the data around that, we'll take a look at this. Again, from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, firearm and ammunition sales. We scroll down, we can see this infographic here.
Zig says, in too deep with guns to get rid of. Yeah, exactly. Like you're the same way we're not going to get rid of drugs. We're not going to get rid of guns. And so the best way to approach the problem is to have the understanding that they're not going anywhere and we have to deal with them. You can't just, it's not like your gender where you can just snap your fingers and your penis disappears.
Haram!
And if we scroll down, demographics, for any demographic that you had an increase, please specify the percentage increase. Average percent sales increase retailers reported during the first half of 2020. For what?
Right, so let's take a look at this. So to the best of your knowledge, what was the overall makeup of your customers? Okay, so there's for people buying guns. Let's get rid of that for a second. So mostly white. So mostly white males. Then we had 9% Black, Hispanic, Asian. For any demographic that you had an increase, please specify the percentage increase. So Black people were the largest rate of increase during the first half of 2020.
White, we had 51.9%. For Black, we had 58.2%. For Hispanic, we had 49.4%. Asian, 42.9%. So the increase in Blacks was actually higher than the increase in whites. Granted, the overall numbers are a bit different because of population size, but we're talking about the increase from baseline from what they're usually used to. So you had the increase in Blacks higher than any other demographic. This doesn't really bode well for what she's talking about here, especially when she listed COVID-19. Oh, the whites are the one. They're the ones. It's the increase is all from the whites. The whites are the ones buying the guns. This is what we see. Well, no, it's actually here. It's from the Blacks. And Hispanics are effectively tied with whites here as far as the increase.
And
then
Asians.
Comes this claim again.
We don't even need to talk about Asians because those Asians and their guns.
Guns are the #1 killer of children. Again, we've been over this before. It depends what you define as children, excluding infants, excluding abortions. But then she also says this amazing line.
Guns are now the #1 killer of kids in America, including white kids. 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. White supremacy is now the number.
I love that he's circling back to this. Because just in those two lines, white kids too. 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. So much there. So much bullshit right there. Like what?
1 killer of all kids in America, including white kids.
She says, including white children. Well, what does that mean? Well, yeah, if you include them in the overall numbers of what we are defining as children, which is
exactly. Are you implying that white kids are not children?
What?
Why would you even say that? And it really shows you where their mind is, because you wouldn't think to a normal person on either side of the aisle, really. I don't think would think to phrase it like that, even if you were trying to, like, what is she even trying to stress? Even white kids. What does that mean? What are you doing?
1 through 18, 1 through 19, 1 through 17, whatever, then yeah, the overall number, which includes white children, the firearm deaths are higher than the second cause of death or whatever. But that doesn't mean for white children, it's also true. That's not what that means, because I actually decided to go through the numbers myself. So,
all right,
underlying cause of death, 2018 through 2021, single race results, death occurring through 2021. This is from the CDC Wonder page.
All right, so we're coming from the CDC. Underlying cause of death from 2018 and 2021 in single race
It's a
results.
fantastic resource. Here we have by
zoom
age,
in, but-
by race, we have number of deaths.
So, for 1-year-olds, we have the. Wait, what? Okay, let him explain. I don't know.
And if we scroll down to the bottom, you can see injury mechanism and all other leading causes, motor vehicle traffic. We have the ages, etc. Blah 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 blah. So this is for motor vehicle traffic. And if you just want to parse out the white numbers, we go line by line by line by line and add those all up. Unfortunately, they don't list the total down here, but I did the math. You can look at these numbers and do the math yourself. But for whites, the number for motor vehicle accident deaths for whites 1 through 17 is 1,567. If we go to firearm deaths, again, this is CDC Wonder.
So remember, 1,000.
Same everything. Whatever.
Wait, we got to remember the number. Let's make sure we the number that he says.
1 through 17 is 1,567.
Okay, 1567 for car accidents.
If we go to firearm deaths, again, this is CDC Wonder, underlying cause of death, same everything, whatever. And we scroll down, you can see injury mechanism and all other leading causes, firearm, and we see all the other stuff. We go up, we see by year the numbers, 1 through 17.
All right. Is it going to be more or is it going to be less than 1567 for car-related deaths?
And if we add it all up, then the number for whites 1 through 17 is 1,193. That means
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's like a lower number, not a higher number. Unless I forgot. Oh, we're using 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. Okay, I got it.
100 less firearm deaths for white kids age 1 through 17 than there are motor vehicle traffic incidents for the same demographic.
Yeah,
you can also see in this graph from the Kaiser Family Foundation.
So what I'm not 100% sure on, maybe is because she specifically said even for white kids. So was he separating out the overall firearm deaths versus motor vehicle deaths, or was he singling out the white deaths of car accidents and the white deaths of firearms? That one I'm not too sure about. I think it was specifically the white kids, because she had to say even white kids. But either way, I mean, come on.
Firearm deaths of children.
Actually, no, it would have to be just the white kids, because then we know that if we are looking ages 1 to 17, then it would be firearms. So for not to be the highest the leading cause. So yeah, for white people, you're much more likely to die in a car as a child than you are to get shot. Wonder what that means. I'm not saying it.
Adolescents continued to rise in 2021, especially among Black youth. If we scroll down, we can see that these are the firearm-related deaths for children and adolescents by race/ethnicity from 2018 through 2021.
All right, so we got obviously, white people down, way down here, Black people way up here, Asians way down here. Shout out to all my Asian brethren. And yeah, you can just see the numbers play out exactly as we expect them to, exactly as we would imagine they would based on the laws and such that we have. and not that we want, but yeah, it's exactly right. She reverse race baited herself. And guess what? There's millions, maybe not millions because it's MSNBC and nobody's really watching MSNBC, but at least 100,000 people who watch that and believe that because it was the news. The news. That's, I mean, I'm having a hard time here, guys. I really don't know what to say about how ridiculous her statements and her position overall really is. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
They're color coded for the different years. Here's the different races. And you can see the increase is almost exclusively from black kids. You can see the number doubled from 6 in 2018 to 12 in 2021. This is per 100,000 rates. The rate for white kids is basically the same rate.
And of course, they're using the 2018 to 2021 time frame because that is, that includes before COVID, during lockdowns, and as we were coming out of lockdowns.
For Hispanics has increased, but still fairly low compared to blacks. The numbers for Asians actually went down from 2018. So yeah, Sarah Rao's claims there about this is even true for white kids, if that's what she meant, or she was
just trying to play on the imagined racism of people. Well, if it's the number one leading cause of death for children. Well, I don't really care. Even white kids. What? Even white kids? Oh, now I'm going to go and sell all my guns back. That's really the only reason you would say that like that. Even white kids. It's kind of disgusting. Yet. The woke people are not the racist ones. It's everybody else.
Trying to play weird linguistic games to say if you include white kids in the numbers overall, whatever.
Semantic.
But white kids alone, no, that is not true. It's not the leading cause of death for white kids, but it is for black kids. But the rise is almost exclusively from the increase in black youth violence against one another.
June 5th, 5 a.m., 25,000 white women, state capital, Denver, Colorado, demanding Democratic Governor Jared Polis sign an executive order, buy guns and ban guns and buy them back. Ban guns and buy them back.
And why?
So again, the idea that you're going to get anybody who hasn't lost a child to gun violence to go anywhere at 5 in the morning, ain't going to happen. Why would you put it at 5 in the morning? He's not even going to be there. What? Like, maybe if you wanted to go to his house at 5 in the morning, at least that would logically make sense. At least that would be rational. But he's not going to be at the office at 5 in the morning. You're going to have to wait until 10 when he comes in. Hey, we got MJ in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see you, girl. How have you been? I guess if that's what really matters, then MJ is going to be the first white woman out there at 5 a.m. in Colorado to get ban guns and buy them back. Ban guns and buy them back. Let's do it again.
One another.
June 5th, 5 a.m., 25,000 white women, state capital, Denver, Colorado, demanding Democratic Governor Jared Polis sign an executive order, buy guns and ban guns and buy them back. Ban guns and buy them back.
And why you said specifically white women?
Because white women traditionally have the most power in this country. That's why.
What about the patriarchy? I thought this whole thing was about the patriarchy and about misogyny and all of this stuff. And now it's white women that have the most power. I'm sorry, guys. I'm genuinely apologetic. I am left speechless at every word she says. I don't know what else to say. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I don't know how to react. I apologize. I have nothing for you. I have nothing.
Marketers are like white women between the ages of 25 and 55, right? That's what advertisers go after. And white women have the most privilege in terms of the least likely to be harmed by police. 25,000 numbers. Let's get
well, also least likely to commit a crime, right? So those things would be related, right? So we would think that people who are committing more crimes are likely going to have more bad experiences with cops, and people who don't commit crimes are probably not going to as often. But logic, silly me with logic. And I just said, yes, that's why men are turning into white women. When you're right, MJ. When you are right, you are right. There's a huge population of white men turning into white women because but at least they're admitting it. At least, I mean, this is what we in the this side of the internet, this is what we've been saying for years. That's the gynocentric social order, all that stuff. But now MSNBC and the readout now officially is on our side. I didn't even notice it. Thank you, MJ. Without you, I wouldn't have even picked it out. Crazy. Zig says, mom's having an existential crisis and chose guns as the hill to die on. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. And I mean, again, I don't want to be crass. If there is something, if she had a child that died from gun violence, I can understand why this would be something that you care so much about. But come on, be reasonable. Be reasonably irreasonable. Be reasonably irrational. You're being unreasonably irrational on TV. They just called her on because they're like, yo, this is gonna go viral, guys. Check this out. This chick's gonna come in and say we're gonna ban all guns, and she's dead serious. She's dead serious. And just said, do you think they all went to the Capitol in their own cars, or did they try to carpool? Oh man. Oh, if I was a little bit quicker and a little bit smarter, I would have a joke about the car death analogy that we used before, but it's there somewhere. You can fit it in. If they carpool, then they're less likely to die in the car accidents. I'm sorry. This chick is throwing me off my game, but good point. Oh man, there's a train wreck.
A ton of them, they will get him to do it. They will get him to do it. We know that. 1,000 most privileged in terms of the least likely to be harmed by police. 25,000 numbers. Let's get a ton of them. They will get him to do it. They will get him.
So white women, you are just numbers to her. You are just numbers. She just wants the numbers. And she wants to use your white privilege and your female privilege. All that power, and she wants to take it from you and use you and abuse you for her own means. Very nice one, I'm sure.
Him to do it. We know that. If history's any guy, they will get him to do it.
So you heard it there again from Sarah Rowell.
No, they won't, because there's a constitution. You've already been told this. You've already been told it's blatantly unconstitutional. And even if they wanted to go with it, like, that's just not how politics works. It's just not. I'm crazy.
Herself, the 25,000 plus white women at 5 a.m. at the Capitol in Denver, and that they will get him to do it. If history's any indicator, they're going to get him to do it. Now, again, I made my bet. I don't think they're going to get him to do it. And he said himself he's not going to do it. It's plainly unconstitutional. But it's pretty incredible seeing this on MSNBC. Joy Reid is
for real.
Crazy.
Reid, that's her name. Joy Reid. I couldn't think of it, but yeah, at least she admits now that at least white women are the most powerful block of people in the country. At least we all agree.
Yourself, and this is Miss running in Central Park, double masked outside, even when vaccinated, like, whack job. But yeah, this is what we're dealing with. Okay. Now you have to be wondering.
So I'm just giving you a heads up. Computer's whacking out a little bit. I have something else, but it might take a minute. I mean, you might need to do something. Just prepare yourselves.
What's the real agenda here? Is she really that delusional? What? Does she really think that this is possible? Or is there another motive here?
That's a good question. Because you really have to, that's what I've been trying to do is like, is she just trying to get fame? Is she just trying to, get her name out there for money for her organization? Or does she really believe that this is something that she can accomplish? I mean, for what it's worth, we spend a lot of time shitting on people who put themselves into this oppressed category where they can't do anything. And as much as she's claiming all this oppression, at least she's trying to say, no, we can do this. I can do it. That's better than nothing. But it's just not going to happen. A keckle? Is that what they're called? A keckle of Karens having their own January 6th. I love it. A keckle. A keckle.
I can't say. I've always been very confused by Sarah Rao. I mean, at first I thought she was an obvious troll, and then I was like, okay, she's for real, I guess.
I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure. I think she might be a troll, but it's like that teacher with the giant boobs. Like, it took us months to figure out. Was that like somebody, you know, trying to actually live their life, or what? Like, you know, with what is it, Senator, Congressman, whatever, Ryan Webb, it's very clear that he's just trolling the LGBT community. Or is he? But the Canadian teacher, we really didn't know. What is that? There's some forget what it is, some rule that where, you know, you cannot tell the difference between reality and satire. And we have crossed the Rubicon, my friends. We have crossed the Rubicon. You really can never tell. Would any of you be surprised if he ends this video with like, just kidding, this was a skit and we did I wouldn't. Would you be surprised if he didn't do that and this is all dead serious? Me neither.
I thought this group was a troll until I saw that it was associated with her. So then I thought it was real, which I do think the group is real. And it's taking place in Denver, Colorado. They have their own reasons for why they say that's happening that way. I think, first of all, it's because, you know, she lives in Colorado. She lives in Denver.
Obviously.
So because she...
Yeah, of course she's not going to, you know, go to Chicago where there's, you know, the gun violence capital and try to stop guns there. She just doesn't want herself getting shot. Reasonable, right?
She lives there. It's easier for her. But I do think there's a possibility. I'm not going to say 100% sure, but this is me hypothesizing here.
And Zig says, Zelensky is a literal comedian. Everything's a joke. Yep. MJ says, you get a big number of any group. Then what if there was a plan to take that group out? Whoa. I didn't even think of that. What if there was a plan to take that group out? Now that is the way PSYOPs La La Land thinking, but who knows? I'm right there with you. That is the most reasonable thing that I've heard about this entire thing, that she's a raging racist against white women, and she wants to get them all in the same place and do something. That is the most reasonable thing that I can think of. And it's insane. But that's all I got. That's all I got. Insane.
I think this could be a potential lead generation opportunity. You know, maybe they're getting money from other groups and things like that. It's possible. Sarah Rao, for example, has this venture called...
Does anybody know what that means? A lead generation? What did he say?
% sure, but this is me hypothesizing here. I think this could be a potential lead generation opportunity.
Lead generation meaning like leads for donations and stuff. I think that's what he means. A lead potential, meaning, you know, oh, we've got these leads. If these people are willing to, you know, shell out money for the cause. That's what I was. That was the other thing I was thinking. And maybe that's a little bit more realistic than what MJ was saying. But the way this lady's talking, I do not know.
You know, maybe they're getting money from other groups and things like that. It's possible. Sarah Rao, for example, has this venture called Haven Media. As you can see from the website, Meet the Team, Sarah Rao, co-founder/board member. And if we look at Cause IQ, which has a lot of the stats around these sort of 501c3s and disclosures and things like that, we can see one of the funding mechanisms for Haven Media is actually the Schwab Charitable Fund, where in 2021, I believe in June, they got about $25,250.
$25,250 from Klaus Schwab. Surprised? Me neither.
And that's just one of the funds that has funded this. Total revenues of $180,544. Total expenses, you see that here. Total assets, you see that here. Who knows? Maybe this here for the kids thing is a new.
Wait, I missed it. So total expenses, $237,000, and total revenue 180. So that's a nice little chunk of change. MJ said, "This is what I found out about lead generation opportunities. Lead generation is the process of attracting prospects to your business and increasing their interest through nurturing, all with the end goal of converting them into a customer." There you go. Thank you. That is exactly what I was thinking from the beginning. I think that's the only way that this makes sense. There's no way that you think that you're actually going to get a governor to just completely ignore the Second Amendment and sign an executive order to ban all guns, whether or not there's a buyback. It's just not happening. So it says data mining. In what context? Maybe. In what context?
Here, total assets, you see that here. Who knows? Maybe this here for the kids thing is a new opportunity, a new venture to maybe, get some of this anti-gun money from these various different groups. But again, my hypothesis,
the money.
I do think
the money. I thought he was going to say it's a good way to start teaching kids with but no, it's if it's about the money, yes, sir, it is.
So serve as a lead generation funnel for Sarah Rao and her Race to Dinner project. Again, they're focusing on white women. Who is her clientele that pays her thousands of dollars for these Race to Dinner things? White.
But where's the data that would be mined? You mean like through the other aspects of the organization? Because I thought we were just talking about the 2,500 or 25,000 people that were showing up at 5 in the morning. I don't even like saying 5 in the morning. MG says, "Don't we all want to be nurtured?" Yup. That is a diabolical approach for turning me into a customer. Yep. Exactly. So yeah, that where through the website and the rest of the organization, it sounds like that's probably what it is. If it's not this psyop that MJ called out, I'm saying it's not as crazy. It's not as crazy as you think. It's crazy, but crazier things have happened.
Women. Who are her books primarily designed for? White women. So if they can create an email list, if they can get these people to show up in person, show their dedication, that could be a screening tool. Again, I'm just theorizing. I'm just hypothesizing. I'm not saying this is absolutely the case, but it's a possibility. What do you think? Do you think this is potentially what I'm saying or think it is? What are your thoughts?
I think we got a good idea here of what Sarah Rao is trying to do. All right, so let me see what is going on here. If I can get this to open up, because I think sometimes it's the banner. Come on, baby. Come on. All right, maybe if I leave and come back. All right, you guys, hang on 1 second. I'm just saying, wouldn't it be funny to change the word women to bread in the entire podcast? What? I'm gonna leave that up. You guys think about that one. Give me a second. I'm gonna bounce out and try to come right back and see if this fixes things. Thing. So come on, where is this? So what are we gonna do is I'm gonna try to restart real quick, answer some of y'all's questions, and see what we got. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'll get you. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. All right. Let's try that. And then, where did Lil Toes go? Boom. Oh, this is a different one. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. 1 second here. So, yeah, I wanted to check out. There we go. All right, share screen, and we're back in it. There we go. Let's. Oh no, fucking Jesus Christ. So this is Colin Noir. Colin. I always say his name wrong. But he's a gun guy as well. Oh wait, let me get the first of all. That is for MJ. And of course, before I update the banner here, I've got to add her to it. But yes, so thank you very much, MJ. Much appreciated. So yeah, he is a big gun dude. He is like the gun tuber. And just want to get his thoughts on the same thing. So NuanceBro went in with a little bit more of a tactical approach and lots of research and stuff. And I'm not saying that Noir won't, but it's going to be, just a little bit of a different context. 9. Boom. Thank you again, MJ. Let's
Friend Joyanne Reed sat down with the leader and the founder of Here for the Kids group, which is a gun control group that's not essentially saying, they're saying they want to ban all of the guns. But before I break this video down, make sure you watch this video all the way until the end, because I have a special giveaway announcement.
That was President Biden today repeating his call to action. And while he was successful in passing real gun reform back in the 1990s, it feels futile in today's environment. Mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting, nothing seems to change. So maybe it's time to rethink how we address the issue and try something radically new. My next guests are
radical is right,
arguing to do just that. Joining me now is Syra Rao,
we're back.
President and co-founder of Here for the Kids, and Lake Bell, actor, screenwriter, director, and activist.
So the I was going to mention that before, but yes. So Lake Bell on the other side here, I was very curious to see where she was falling on this, if she was agreeing or if she was going to be pushing back against Sarah here. So let's check it out.
Thank you both very much. And Syra, I am just going to give you the floor and let you explain to me your radical idea for what we can actually do about this nonsense.
And of course, we obviously saw this clip already, but
it's actually not that radical, Joy.
Isn't it
You know what I would
though?
argue is radical is that we have grown accustomed to dropping our kids off at school and not knowing if they're going to come back alive. Going to the grocery store and not knowing if we're going to get assassinated. Going to the mall and getting murdered. That's radical. What we are proposing is banning guns and buying them back. That's sensible.
No, actually, it's just stupid. You see, the only people who would actually turn in their guns are not the people who were worried about having guns. Criminals are not turning their guns in.
That's the first point right there. Criminals are not turning their guns in. So aside from the fact that everyone who owns a gun would now become a felon immediately overnight or the moment the bill is signed, the people that you want to give their guns back won't. So all you're going to do is disarm the people who should have the guns.
Hell, they aren't supposed to even have them in the first place, and they still do. So you'd still have to worry about all of the things you just talked about. But now, even more so, you've made it worse because now you've given up the only thing you have to use for your defense against the criminals who didn't turn in the guns that you want them to turn in. So your plan is not sensible.
It's a bad plan. Not because of anything else, except that it doesn't accomplish what you want it to accomplish. If you want people to stop dying from guns, then taking guns away from the people who aren't killing people does nothing. It does nothing.
It's stupid. And not only is it stupid, it's unconstitutional as hell.
Guns are the #1 killer of kids in America. Sit with that.
Let's sit with it. Let's sit with it. I'm excited to see what he has to say about this one.
Sit with that. Guns are the #1 killer of children in America.
As if we haven't heard that stat over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, if this was something new, if people didn't talk about this, that would be a pretty alarming stat. But we hear it all the time, constantly.
And folks are saying it's radical to ban guns.
Yup.
No, it's actually radical that we've decided to live with this.
Nope.
Uvalde? My goodness, what has happened since Uvalde? Mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting. Enough. Bulletproof backpacks? That's radical. What's sensible? Ban guns and buy them back. And that's what Here for the Kids is doing.
You got to respect the grift. You got to respect the grift. When it works, it works. If you're trying to save people's lives from gun deaths, but if you're trying to get famous, then hey, you doing your thing, girl. You doing your thing. You keep on going, talking about even white kids. It's working.
Guns are not the #1 killer of kids in this country. I did a whole video about this when Joe Biden said this almost a year ago. They're quoting a study that was conducted by the CDC. And the thing they're not telling you is this. CDC study that he's referring to defines children as persons 1 to 19 years old.
So it was 19. I thought it was 20, but it's 1 to 19. And then as we saw with the NuanceBro video, if you include all the children, that's not true. Then if you take even 15 and up, let's just take out not even all deaths, 15, let's just take out the gang deaths and then compare them to the other ways that children die. But you won't do that. Because you know that you have to fudge the numbers. It's not a mistake. It's not a bug. It's a feature.
Last I checked, an 18 and a 19-year-old were considered adults, not children. What he's also not telling you is that the vast majority of kids are killed by guns in smaller day-to-day incidents.
But it's a mass shooting if there's 3 or more.
Not mass or school shootings.
Oh, wow. So he's saying it's not even. Even if you want to say a mass shooting is only 3 people, it's not even a mass shooting. It's in 1 or 2 at a time, which, of course, we're not saying, oh, yay, people are dying from guns. That's not the point at all. The point is the picture that she presented you was presented in the attempt to pull on your heartstrings and make you not think. Instead of understand, she wants you to not think and feel for her. feel for me and what I want. So it'll make me feel better, even if it makes the entire country way more dangerous. I'll feel better. So please.
5% of those so-called children's deaths are homicides, and 35% are suicides. So if most of these homicides are not from mass shootings, this means they're from inner city gang violence. They like to leave out those parts because it tells a completely different story.
And obviously, if you didn't catch the beep, he was doing saying self-deletion. Well, he wasn't saying self-deletion, but the thing that I am referring to and saying self-deletion.
And doesn't make it seem so crazy as it is when they say, oh, it's the #1 killer of kids in the country, because it's not true.
We know that Australia did that, and you know, after one mass shooting, but in the but they don't have a thing called the Second Amendment. And I'm just going to put it up on screen. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of a people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And we know that that
shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Which part of that do you not get?
Was passed because of fear of rebellions, right? Fear of rebellions, and that the regulator.
Noir's gonna go in on this part. I know NuanceBro kind of glossed over it in an attempt to make his larger point, but I can feel it. I can feel it.
Part well-regulated implies the government can regulate arms, but the Constitution says people have a right to have them. How can you ban something that's in the Constitution as something people have a right to have?
You can't, bro. You can't.
Regulated in the Second Amendment does not mean government control. It means well-functioning. Bingo! Recently did a response to John Stewart, who tried to make the same argument. In the late 18th century, when the Second Amendment was written, well-regulated did not mean controlled or supervised by the government. It meant well-functioning. Well-regulated in the 18th century tended to be something like well-organized.
Okay, so this says, what did it mean to be well-regulated? One of the biggest challenges in interpreting a centuries-old document is that the meanings of words change or diverge. Quote, well-regulated in the 18th century tended to be something like well-organized, well-armed, well-disciplined, says Rakovi, I don't know who that is. Quote, it didn't mean regulation in the sense that we use it now. It's not, in that it's not about a regulatory state. There's been a nuance there. Shout out to NuanceBro. There's been nuance there. It means the militia was it means the militia was in an effective shape to fight. In other words, it didn't mean the state was controlling the militia in a certain way, but rather that the militia was prepared to do its duty. That is what it's for. Yeah, right. Most insane girl. And what is this one? Yeah. Told you. I told you. They coming, and they're not hiding anymore. They're not acting like it's it's just this and that, and these are fine, but those are not, and we're gonna make rules around this to me. So ban all guns.
Well-armed, well-disciplined, says Rovo. It didn't mean regulation in the sense that we use it now. In that it's not about the regulatory state. There's been nuance there. It means the militia was in effective shape to fight. In other words, it didn't mean the state was controlling the militia in a certain way, but rather that the militia was prepared to do its duty. Keep in mind, that's coming from a constitutional expert who won a Pulitzer Prize for history.
So the Second Amendment in reality, actually.
When I don't read it, he doesn't read it. So, what did he say? Rakovi or whatever the name is, won the 1997 Pulitzer Prize for History and the 98 Cox Book Prize for Original Meanings. The book Original Meanings: Politics and Ideas in the Making of the Constitution, which questioned whether originalism is a comprehensive and exhaustive means of interpreting the Constitution.
Constitutional expert who won a Pulitzer Prize for history.
So the Second Amendment in reality, actually, fear of rebellion by whom? By enslaved people.
Again, we went over this from anybody, but particularly a tyrannical government.
That's why we have the Second Amendment.
And people in Massachusetts, because there were 2 rebellions by white folks as well. So rebellion,
sure.
Period.
Oh, she just couldn't wait to get that one. Oh, more white, but something about white folks. And yeah, white folks, the white folks are white, and white folks are white.
Sure, but read The Second by Carol Anderson. It's a beautiful book. We have
NuanceBro went over how much of a crock of shit that is.
the Second Amendment because of white supremacy and anti-blackness. Give slave owners the right to massacre their enslaved people. So
it's still funny that that's a legitimate thing that she thinks. I know I apologize. I apologize that I don't have better commentary here. I am just blown. My mind is blown that you could get this far. And I mean, unless it's the grift, in which case, respect. That's Babylon B level. That's Alex Stein 99 level. But something tells me she's dead ass.
So we have it, white supremacy, anti-blackness, proliferation of guns since 1791 when
1 + 2 + 3 = 4.
Was ratified. White people buy guns en masse when they get super scared by people who look like you and me. These are facts. Google it. Obama, Ferguson, George Floyd, 9/11, COVID-19. That's part 2. Number 3, guns are now the #1 killer of kids in America, including white kids. 1 + 2 +
I hope Noir addresses that. It is such a weird phrase. Why would you say it like that?
3 = 4. White supremacy is now the #1 killer of all kids in America, including white kids.
And so I just want to focus on that because NuanceBro didn't include the last part there. That white supremacy is the leading cause of death. This is the mental gymnastics they will do. Yeah, right. Facts, bro. Or not. This is what they will do. This is how they use the obfuscation on our semantics to make their arguments. 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. Therefore, racism and white supremacy. It is literally that shallow.
I'm ready to get rid of the Second Amendment.
I'm ready to get rid of you.
And I think it's wild that people would prefer to protect an amendment, a racist amendment from 1791, over their own children.
Oh, how I love the smell of the soft bigotry of lowered expectations in the morning.
Ooh.
So, black.
I did not detect a bigotry of low expectations here. So, I wonder what he's talking about.
People don't buy guns. Guess I didn't get that memo. And I guess he didn't get that memo either.
I frankly believe that every Negro in the country should learn judo and karate.
How about carrying a weapon?
If it's legal for a man to carry or have in his possession a rifle or a shotgun, especially faced with what Negroes in this country are confronted with, they should have it. They shouldn't go out attacking someone with it, but in the face of the brutality that our people encounter, it's not unjust to teach a Negro to have a shotgun or a rifle in his house.
Unless
Beast. And obviously, you know, the implication that not going along with her plan is racist is exactly the corner that she's trying to put you in. It doesn't make sense, but it doesn't need to make sense, because if you don't agree with her not making sense, then you're racist and you're contributing to the white supremacy, which she just laid out in cold, hard facts. 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. She laid them out. Cold, hard facts. How white supremacy is directly the #1 cause of children dying, even white children dying in America.
What? We forget, Black people are the fastest growing group of gun owners in the US. The irony is the Second Amendment isn't what prevented Black people from owning guns. It was the gun control laws. The same gun control laws you're trying to push now. Because of the language of the Second Amendment, I, as a Black man, have more guns than I do food. And you're the only one trying to take that right away from me.
Wow. So that is where it comes in, the soft bigotry below expectations, saying that we want to take away these guns because of white supremacy, when really the most direct and effective way, if there was some white supremacist incident, would be having a gun. Melton Mind Media says, yes, karate needs to be taught to every man and woman. Well, I don't know about karate specifically, but definitely some type of martial arts will help you, but ain't gonna help you with a gun. Zig says she kind of exposes her bigotry, privilege, racist, classist, projection, Your Honor. Yep, I didn't even see it the first time around. But our boy Collian here, spot on. So let's Good one. Oh, where is it? Come on. I hate this delay. There we go. Gun fu. Everybody should learn gun fu. Everybody was gun fu fighting. Oh, that would be a banger, right? All right. So let's watch that without the explanation of the bigotry of low expectations that I missed the first time around. I want to watch that all the way through without interrupting.
A rifle in his house. It's not something
People love the smell.
A racist amendment, one killer of all kids in America.
So this again, thinking about the idea that this comes from elitism and bigotry, and thinking that black people can't help themselves. That, and again, we listened to this particular clip 4 times in the other thing, and I just didn't I just didn't even notice it. So shout out to Colleen Noir,
including white kids. I'm ready to get rid of the Second Amendment. I think it's wild that people would prefer to protect an amendment, a racist amendment from 1791, over their own children.
Oh, how I love the smell of the soft bigotry of lowered expectations in the morning. So black people don't buy guns. Guess I didn't get that memo. And I guess he didn't get that memo either.
I frankly believe that every Negro in the country should learn judo and karate.
How about carrying a weapon?
And gun fu.
If it's legal for a man to carry or have in his possession a rifle or a shotgun, especially faced with what Negroes in this country are confronted with, they should have it. They shouldn't go out attacking someone with it, but in the face of the brutality that our people encounter, it's not unjust to teach a Negro to have a shotgun or a rifle in his house.
And lest we forget, black people are the fastest growing group of gun owners in the US. The irony is the Second Amendment isn't what prevented black people from owning guns.
Nope.
It was the gun control laws, the same gun control laws you're trying to push now. Because of the language of the Second Amendment, I, as a black man, have more guns than I do food. And you're the only one trying to take that right away from me.
Wow. So yeah, I just wanted to hear that in full without interruption, because you have to be aware of when you have blind spots. I didn't see that coming, and the fact that I didn't see it, I want to make sure that I really understood what he was saying, because I didn't understand it. Now I understand it.
So miss me with the whole the Second Amendment is racist, so we must do away with it. Because I'm not buying it.
The United States has more guns than any country in the world per 100,000 residents.
Come on, Lake Bell. You about to be based right here? You about to be based and shut this up?
Any country. Next closest is Chile, then Israel, Canada. You can go down the list.
And I'm proud of that. Shout out to the only country that could be having the most guns and being the best country in the world. No other country could do it. No other country could do it. MJ said, if you listen to newsreels from the 50s and 60s, the speaking cadence and even accent is so interesting. We sound so totally different. It's called the East Atlantic, was it the something, Pacific? No. There's a name for it, but there's a specific cadence and tones that they use. And that's what you're talking about. When they talk like this, see? That was because the quality, like the sound quality, like now, we have full HD and high definition, high quality stuff. But back then, you had these crackly little radios, and the quality wasn't good. You weren't able to hear as well. So you would speak in a very what's the word? Like just the way that you would express the different what's the word? I forget. But yeah, the radio voice. Yeah, see, the Giants were winning, and then it's like the actual news would be like, "Here today we saw our what was it? Joy Reid sat down with one of the craziest, insane people we have ever seen." And nobody ever actually talked like that. It was specifically for radio. MJ said, sorry to say that people in the 50s and 60s sound smarter. And it doesn't matter what part of the country of who has been interviewed. Interesting. I mean, we have to take into account that any old random Joe didn't just get on the radio in the 50s and 60s. The radio was like, the YouTube of today. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but we do have to understand that all the dumb people from the 50s and 60s, we just didn't hear from them. All the dumb people from today are all over your timeline. Yeah, so they enunciated their words differently. Let's see if we can. What is the so let's say early radio voice. Radio voice. Okay. That weird announcer video voice and where it came from. Is this gonna let me? Okay. Let's see. The dialectics. Yeah. Israel language rhetoric. How to find out whether you should care. This is, when is this from? From June 2015. All right, can we zoom this in? Boom. Look at that. All right. Thanks for the scores of replies. I've replied in the past 2 days. Responsive post asking why Stentorian, phony British announcer voice that dominated newsreel narration, stage and movie acting, and public discourse in the United States in the first half of the 20th century had completely disappeared. Can I get rid of this? Fucking gay shit. The responses fall into interesting categories: linguistic descriptions of this accent, sociological and ethnic explanations for its rise and fall, possible technological factors in its prominence and disappearance, which is what I was talking about. Explanations rooted in the movie industry, nominees for who might have been the last American to talk this way, and suggestions that are all right, let's see. Let me zoom out a little bit. Mid-Atlantic. I knew it was something like that. They call it Mid-Atlantic English. Writer does not like this name for reasons I'll explain in a minute. Well, just tell us the thing then. What? All right. Well, you get it. You get it. The Mid-Atlantic, that Mid-Atlantic accent. There, Mid-Atlantic English. There we go. Learning all about it. Melton Mind Media says, think about the movie Joe Dirt. It's all him telling his story on the radio. Yeah, but that was the radio in the 90s. So we didn't have that. You didn't need the Mid-Atlantic English in the 90s. You needed it in the I think it started in the 30s and then right around the 50s and 60s. Idiot test makes views now. I don't know what that means. All right. Anyway, moving on.
Per 100,000 residents in any country. Next closest is Chile, then Israel, Canada. You can go down the list. And we have more mass shootings than literally anyone. Yemen is at a very distant second. You signed on to this idea.
I would love to know the population size of the next, because we can, what do you say? Chile is definitely, I don't know. But Israel is definitely way smaller. Canada, okay, that's Canada. This is what, Sweden? And then we have is this UK? Not UK. I don't know. I don't know geography. But point being, all of these are way, except for Canada, way smaller than America, and also don't have that gun culture. It's like the people just conveniently want to ignore that. You have to account for the history and the difference in cultures. MJ said, voices, speaking cadence, dialectic, words, very interesting to pay attention to. I agree. I do think they sound more proper from back then. Agreed. Melted Mind Media says, I'm saying back in the 50s, people wanted to hear smart people. Now we just get bombarded with dumbasses.
Bingo!
Yep. Unfortunately true. Unfortunately, very, very true. But yeah, definitely think about the population size of all of these countries. It's probably all of these put together, which would make the population of America.
Yeah, like why?
Don't quote me on that, but you know what I mean.
And what do you think can pragmatically be done?
Yeah, I like that you said pragmatic, because I do feel like it is. There's some logic
involved
Lake. Here. There seems to be a
come on, Lake. I'm counting on you. Be the voice of reason here.
Disconnect for what can we do? What can we do? Well, clearly, to name something like a gun ban feels so, it feels like a tall order, but we're kind of we're in tall order territory because my kids are watching me and they're like, what are you doing? Like, what can we do? I'm scared, you know, and it's not.
Just because you are scared doesn't mean there is something to be done. Just because you are scared doesn't mean the government needs to act on other people's lives. Sometimes shit is just scary. If you're that scared, buy a gun! Solves everything. Solves everything. If you were that scared, you would buy a gun. You would get lessons on how to shoot, and you would keep right by, under your pillow. I'm just saying, I wish someone really studied the changes from the 50s and 60s and to the 90s and the naughty aughts to really identify what changed in our population to shoot more often. The number of guns then to now is similar. That's a good point. That is a very good point. I would have to imagine that the shrinking of the middle class definitely has a lot to do with it. The fact, people who have shit to lose are less likely. Oh, that's one thing. People who have shit to lose are less likely to get in gunfights over anything. So when you have people who don't have anything to lose, then they're more likely to, take those kinds of risks and get into lines of work where you might need a gun. MJ said, I can't wait until we get laser or ray guns. That would be pretty cool. Sign me up. Faux show.
Not just a select group of people, it's all people. I mean, my friends from other countries are like, people are telling me I shouldn't travel to your country right now because there's such an extraordinary gun violence problem.
Okay, tell me one thing that you actually know about their country. So why would you expect that they would have any other idea of our country than what they see on this bullshit news?
So there just seems to...
And actually, to add on to that, we can hate on TikTok all night and day. We can hate on TikTok all night and day. But the fact is, I've seen a number of TikToks of people from other countries who came here within 6 months to a year to 2 years or whatever, and they're like, when I was coming here, I was scared because I thought this, that. I thought everybody was fat. I thought everybody was loud. And there are a lot of fat and loud people, but most people are just normal people. Most people are just normal people.
To be like a disconnect that the idea, just as a parent, I'm here representing parents, who have children.
Are you though? Sounds like you're here representing white elitist liberal parents who have children and don't know about guns. That would be more accurate to say.
I mean, but you don't have to be, I just feel like it's a big swing, sure. But it's like, that's where we are.
Yeah. Is it though? How? Okay, fine. If that's what you say, that we are in big swing territory, convince me. Otherwise, you are just saying things.
That's logic.
This is what.
Oh, that's logic. That's logic. Oh, it's logic. My bad, guys. All right, show's over. It's logic. It's logic. You can't argue with that. It's logic.
Why you have to stop listening to a lot of these celebrities, because this woman rambled and babbled and said absolutely nothing except for my kids are scared, so ban all the guns. Not to mention Joanne Reed being surprised that some parents who lost their kids at the Uvalde shooting didn't want to ban guns is baffling to me, because they don't look at the guns the same way you do. You look at the gun as if it's a human being who actually did the killings. They look at the gun as merely the tool used by the killer to kill their kids. And they understand that getting rid of guns isn't going to make them any safer.
Nope. Hey, we got the Camcast in the building. Welcome to the party. How's it going? Going pretty well. We are looking at this crazy lady who thinks the best thing is to ban all guns, and she's going to try to do that by getting 25,000 white women to meet up at 5 a.m. I don't know. I've been struggling to understand. So I have brought in a friend to help me. Welcome to the party Camcast, but also let's welcome our good friend, Melted Mind Media. What is good? What is good, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Good. Not much. You know, just this lady is frying my brain a little bit. But before we go into that, why don't you tell the people who you are, where they can find you, and what the hell do you do?
I'm Melted Mind Media. I have a YouTube channel, Melted Mind Media, and I have my Twitter at Melted Mind Media. You can catch me there for some awesome videos where we help you stop the media that's melting your mind.
Beautiful. All right. So we got the Camcast in the building. We got Melty on screen. You guys are gonna help me through the rest of this because, you know, guns ain't my strong suit. But I can tell when we have a crazy lady. Any thoughts so far, just on what we've been seeing from her?
She said at one point earlier that the most deaths of children in the United States is guns. Is that true?
So I think if it's 1 to 19, if you count 1 to 19, then that is the case. If you include under 1, then it's, you know, like infant death stuff like cholera and stuff like that. And then of course 18 and 19 are adults. So when they say the leading cause of death for children, they're saying children who are at least 1 year old and adults that are 18 or 19.
Okay. So they probably don't include abortion, and they probably don't include
Hell no.
and they probably don't include gang violence. So
Well, they do, but that's why it's the number one cause.
They probably they include gang violence, but that would probably be done with a knife if it was really down.
Exactly. To think that all of that gun violence is going to stop. All the gangs are just going to get along and kumbaya, and you know, we're all just going to be friends, and it's going to be fantastic because there's no guns, and now we're just, you know, we're going to get along. Opus says this is including gang violence, which only gets included in statistics when it's convenient, but it doesn't. But most don't make the national news. Yeah, that's the other thing we're saying is that a mass shooting is horrible. Full stop. It is horrible, but also 3 or more people is not what people think of when they say mass shooting. You're thinking of some Las Vegas, Uvalde type event, and that's just not what it is.
Yeah.
Camcast says we don't have a gun problem up north here in Canada. People just go on semi-truck rampages. Well, definitely a shout out to. Are you anywhere near the fires in Ontario? Because I can see the smoke and shit out here in Jersey. It is crazy.
It's hazy, bro. It's hazy over here.
Yeah, man. So definitely stay safe.
There was something way back in the day in Canada in the subway systems in, I think it's Ontario or something like that, or Quebec. And this person that had like a mental health problem, they were just like given drugs and like taken out of the mental ward. And they were on a subway at like 4 a.m. and everyone's sleeping on the subways on their way to work, waiting for their stops. And like someone just woke up and this dude was eating some lady's eyeballs in the subway.
What?
Yeah, he had a big old buck knife. And then they finally they were in the subway. And it's like, where do you go? You're in a sardine can with a dude with a buck knife.
Yeah, that's exactly why so many people came out in support of Daniel Penny with the whole Jordan Neely situation. It's like exactly what you said. You're stuck in a sardine can. Like what else can you do? And Opus is spot on. As soon as it comes up, get out of the cities. There is nothing there for you. There is nothing there for you. Again, Cass said the smoke out in Canada is crazy, very hazy. Just stay safe, brother. Stay safe. All right, so let's dive back into this. Actually, let's see where we were.
They look at the gun as merely the tool used by the killer to kill their kids. And
yeah, that's exactly what we were just saying about, you know, knives and all that stuff. I mean, it's the same.
It's a tool. A hammer's a tool. A nail gun's a tool.
A semi-truck is a tool.
Yeah.
Camka says, I'm going back to London tomorrow for Canadian city life. Is there a London?
To London?
Is there a London in Canada?
I thought they were French.
We're Americans, all right?
I thought they were French. I thought they'd have a France.
The second biggest Ontario city. All right, well, let us know how it is. And if there's some crazy sites, definitely get. Oh, I took a video. I'm gonna drop it in the Discord later, but definitely want to see some video from Ontario and how bad it is. MJ said, my family is in Canada, and several family members murdered by an adopted son in the 1990s. Gun violence. The man is out now and was allowed to change his name, so we don't know where he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in I'm pretty sure in Canada there's no like murder is not life. It's not. Yeah, like in Canada,
the punishment. You mean?
Yeah, if you kill somebody, you do not get life in prison. I don't think. Wow. I think it's like 30 years.
Well, either way, definitely shouldn't be killing people, and I am sorry to hear about your family, MJ, but. Unfortunately, gun control would likely not have stopped that.
They may have been able, if gun control, if gun control wasn't around, then someone might have been able to have a gun.
Yeah. There you go. This is what we keep you around for, Melty. This is what we keep you around for. British Columbia. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, MJ.
Understand that getting rid of guns isn't going to make them any safer. People are allowed to have a duality of thought process when it comes to certain events. Some people are going to go here, some people are going to go there. The fact that you're so shocked and surprised that somebody who had a kid actually die in a shooting isn't willing to just give up their 2A rights as a result of it is because the only thing you know how to do is feel. There is no
boom. The only thing you know how to do is feel. And that's exactly what we were saying. Hey, we got Jeff Pearson in the building. Welcome to the party, brother. Good to see you. Jeff says, raised with guns. Raised and raising my kids with guns. Good man. CDC, leading cause of death of teenagers is accidents. Yep. And I mean, it could, and that could include, guns. But point being, it's not, mass shootings. It's not. And then Zig says, people who want to kill, gonna kill, no matter what the weapon.
Bingo.
Yep. Well said.
Of it is because the only thing you know how to do is feel. There is no logic. There is no reasoning. It's just, I feel.
Wait a minute. But she said it's logic. It must be, if you say it's logic, it has to be logic, right? It can't be like people using words in a way that they're not meant to be used to further their agenda.
Fully semi-automatic.
Semantica's obfuscation knows no ends. No ends.
And because I feel, you should do what I want.
Yep.
This is nothing more than political solipsism.
June 5th, you all are going to be gathering in Denver. What's going to happen?
June 5th, 5 a.m., 25,000 white women, state capital, Denver, Colorado, demanding Democratic Governor Jared Polis sign an executive order, buy guns and ban guns and buy them back. Ban guns and buy them back.
See, she even slipped up. She had a Freudian slip. We need to buy guns. That's not what I'm here for. The complete opposite. She's the leader of I feelism. Crazy.
I want a shirt that says 1 + 2 + 3 = 4.
Yo, where's Indie Film when we need him? 1 + 2 + 3 = 4. It's logic. Oh my God, I cannot believe she said that.
And why you said specifically white women?
Because white women traditionally have the most power in this country. That's why marketers are like white women between the ages of 25 and 55, right? That's what advertisers go after. And white women have the most privilege in terms of the least likely to be harmed by police. 25,000 numbers. Let's get a ton of them. They will get him to do it. They will get him to do it. We know that. If history is any guide, they will get him to do it.
And Lake, what do you want the governor to do after this protest?
See, she seems a little bit more reasonable in that she seems like the typical liberal elite default of, guns are bad. We have to do something. I don't know what else we can do. So we just got to get rid of it. I can understand being in that position, but you have to be willing to test those ideas and see, is that actually something that's a good idea? And these people never want to do that. They just like Noir said, and like Ziggs is saying, they just throw their hands up to the dogma of I feelism. And unfortunately, that's enough today. That's enough.
There are people that are they're raised with no danger. And then as soon as the danger hits them, it's like they think that immediate action needs to take place. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. This can happen to nobody.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. And so Ziggs is asking, maybe you know this. I'm not sure. Said who gets the guns if they buy them back?
They destroy them.
That's what I was thinking, that they would, probably just take, destroy them and melt down all the metal for whatever they need. The plastic can just be reused for stuff. And I was thinking maybe if there's some like historical kind of
nope,
gun.
No? Historical. No, if you sell it to a government, they're going to destroy it no matter what.
That is haram. That is haram.
And then
Terrible.
and then these gun buybacks, when they were first starting up, they were so like I could pull up an article and send it to you. This guy was going home and he'd buy a pipe, and then he would tie it to a board, and then you could bring that to the gun buyback and sell that.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah. You could just like make your own Ricky little bullshit, and hey,
no questions asked. They can't do nothing.
Gotta buck the system, baby.
And Lake, what do you want the governor to do after this protest?
As the white woman in the room, I'll say that
that's even weird as well. I genuinely, did you notice that she was white in opposition to her the other two? Did you think about that? Did you notice that? Did you think? I mean, that is not even something that crossed my mind. Why do these people think about everything like this?
That's all they've got.
I guess so. That's all they have. Yeah. Camcast says, why white women specifically? Good question.
Because she's jealous.
Going back to the First Amendment. That's what we need.
I concur. I stand by whatever everything that Syra just said. I recognize we white women.
No, so what she had just said was that white women apparently have the most power and the most privilege, and so she wants to use them to further her agenda. Here, let's just.
And white women traditionally have them and buy them back.
And why you said specifically white women?
Because white women traditionally have the most power in this country. That's why marketers are like women between the ages of 25 and 65, right? That's what advertisers go after. And white women have the most privilege in terms of the least likely to be harmed by police. 25,000 numbers. Let's get a ton of them. They will get him to do it.
A ton of them? Who's them?
White women have the least chance to be killed by police. It's like it's not like there are no white women that are not killed by police.
Yeah, well, it's because they're the white women of any demographic. If we're gonna break it down by race and gender, white women are least likely to commit a crime in the first place. So that is why you would expect that the people who do less crime have less interaction with the police, good or bad. It's logic. Jeff says, going back to the first buybacks, some guns ended up in cops' homes.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
That's inevitable. That is inevitable. Well said, Jeff.
They will get him to do it. We know that. If history is any guide, they will get him to do it.
And Lake, what do you want the governor to do after this protest?
As the white woman in the room, I'll say that I concur. I stand by whatever everything that Syra just said.
Well, as the white woman, I'm only allowed to say it's so stupid.
It's sad because this same woman's probably someone that's going to be like, if a man's talking to her, she's gonna be like, I need to break through the glass ceiling because the man's keeping me down. I'm like, you just said white women are the top most.
Yep. Yeah. When she first said it in the other one, then yeah, right. When NuanceBro was addressing it, I was like, what happened to the patriarchy? I thought we were living under the boot of men, white men, doing all of this white man stuff.
What do you remember when at the beginning when Elon bought Twitter, they were talking about how before that they were talking about how white women in Twitter were saying that they wanted to ban the word Karen because it's a racial slur for white women. It's like,
I mean, it is. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, get over it. But it absolutely is not for Asian women or black women or Latinx women. It's for white women.
Well, it doesn't.
That's specifically what it is.
It doesn't make sense. You want to ban? I want to hear people say racial slurs so I know what they're really about. You ban them, and they're just going to stand behind closed doors.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and that's, you know, it was a good show of the difference between how people are viewed when it comes to, you know, and this is perfectly analogous to the Ryan Webb situation where he identifies as a woman of color. I think it was an Indian woman or something, right? And he's just a white dude. And when it comes to them, then we just have to accept it. No questions. Any questions are straight up bigotry. But whenever it doesn't fit exactly what they want, then it's like, oh my God, how dare you? This is racist. This is sexist. This is everything. All the things. All the things. They just can't get enough. They just can't get enough.
I recognize we white women have,
oh my God,
we wield an extraordinary amount of privilege and immunity when it comes to sitting in on the front lines and doing that. And oftentimes we are the group of people who don't show up. I'm not saying all, because we have an extraordinary group of thousands of women who are involved.
There's a lot more than thousands of white women. I don't know where you're getting your numbers from, but there's a few more than 1,000 or even 9,000 if you want to get pedantic. That I mean, MJ said there was that soccer game. The women didn't seem to show that power.
Oh, the World Cups versus the men's soccer college.
Is that what you're talking about, MJ? Because that's where my mind went to. Oh. So we just got offended. All right, let's go over the tape and trigger warning for white women.
MJ's triggered.
Trigger warning for white women. You are about to get verbally accosted.
And on the front line, Jordan said, I recognize we white women have, we wield an extraordinary amount of privilege and immunity when it comes to sitting in on the front lines and doing that. And oftentimes we are the group of people who don't show up. I'm not saying all, because we have an extraordinary group of thousands of women who are involved in this movement, but it is a demographic that traditionally doesn't have to show up, And so I'm urging all of my friends, I have people flying in from all parts of the country to be there because it's that important.
Is it though? Is it that important to infringe on the rights of the entire country? Because I'm going to say probably not.
I don't even have it in me to respond to this.
All right. At least it's not just me. At least it's not just me. When I'm like, what do I even say here? Is the ridiculousness not so obvious that I would be treating you guys with disrespect by trying to explain it to you? It's just like, look at this shit. Just look at it. Oh my God. I said, what is she talking about? All this crap is coming from middle-aged white women. Yup. Oh, just caught on to the Lutchism. Is it though? Probably not. Probably not, though, right?
I just don't. I don't. And now for the giveaway. Today's giveaway is sponsored by Surefire. Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's what's happening in Colorado. So it's June 25th. So they have just over 6 weeks. And NuanceBro said he's gonna give back one of his guns if 25,000 white women show up at 5 a.m. to the Capitol, where the governor is not going to be at 5 in the morning, and get him to just trample all over the Second Amendment and the Constitution. Sounds legit, right?
I hope he brings like his cheap, because he's got like some surefire, like he's got some crazy weapons that are worth tons of money, and they don't give you that. They give you $350 for the gun. So it's like,
really?
Yeah. If I tried to return my AR, I'm like, I'd be losing money. Like, why would I do that?
$350, no matter the type of
Like,
gun?
it depends what state you're in. Like with those ones I was talking about, the pipe and like it was just that, like I think it was no matter what, you got $250 for each gun.
That's wild. And I mean, obvious question, but most guns are going to cost more than that, right? I mean, what's the like? Okay, give me a. I mean, you know that I'm completely novice with this. So, what is an average cost for just a
like
a range?
It varies. So like, yeah, a range.
So let's talk about like handguns. Just
so
a semi-automatic handgun, a Glock or a 9mm or something like
Glock,
that.
And if you're buying a Glock, you're probably going to spend over $500.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, and
like
then
any get like there might be like one in 30, like 38, like 380, like that's a tiny caliber. That might be like $400, but
the Tech 9.
The Tech, how much is a Tech? Oh, a Tech 9. Those depend. Like I can.
Zig's personal favorite. We're done.
But like they have like cheaper guns. Like there's guns you can buy that are like $100. Like there's high points that are notoriously bad. Yep.
Exactly. And just saying, go buy some high points for $200, sell it for $350. Boom! Money. Oh, and Opus brings up a good point about the cost to get the permit as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, also the thing with Jeff was saying is like, okay, you want to go buy a high point. Well, depending on most likely the state you're in that's doing a buyback. If you go buy a handgun, you have a waiting period. So you probably buy it and then you have a waiting period to get it. Or in like a lot of places where you have the gun buybacks with no questions asked, the guns are already illegal there. They're just trying to get gang members that are like broke enough to sell their piece.
So, we have Melty here. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what a high point is?
A high point.
Points.
It's a brand. So like a high point is a brand of like gun. They make they make a carbine and like pistols, but they're notoriously like known for being the cheapest and crappiest guns. Like they're all polymer.
It's like the Honda Civic of guns.
I would say a Honda Civic is way more reliable than a high point if you're talking.
Damn. I mean, credit to my Civic. That was my second car I was driving in high school, and that shit got me through some shit. But it was still a Civic.
Yeah.
Jeff said, no permit required in Idaho. No waiting period in Idaho. All guns allowed. Constitutional carry. That is what we need all across the country.
That's how it is in Indiana. I got my Glock. I put the money down and got my Glock that day. Walked out with it.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I mean, I don't necessarily have an issue with a, like if they have to, they run the background check and let's say you have some bullshit and there's like a 72-hour waiting period. I could see there's situations where that might be a compromise. In the same way we say that, abortion absolutely is killing a child. But since we have people who want 9-month abortions, then, the Roe v. Wade first trimester was a good middle ground. You disagree?
There's no more compromise anymore, Lutch.
No, I hear you. But
there's no more.
They're not trying to. I understand that, but I'm saying that would be if like let's say if that's all they were pushing for. If all they were pushing for was every gun 72-hour waiting period, but that's it. You can have any gun you want, concealed carry, no permits, but you have to wait 72 hours. Would you say yes or no?
I would say no. I'd say because you put your money down to buy this. You put your money down to buy this gun, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have to wait 72 hours. What if something happens at 72 hours?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's a compromise. So but again, all right. So let's make this a poll. So I want you guys to understand that if this is all they're pushing, so I'm gonna explain the poll, which I don't usually do because I do want straight answers on this one. So The proposition I'm putting forward is right now, this bitch is trying to ban all guns, full stop. I mean, you get the buyback, but whatever. That's not really here nor there, because if you wanted the money, you probably wouldn't have bought the gun in the first place. So that's what they're pushing for right now. And it's not just her. It's a lot of people in that camp who think there's no issue with just banning guns across the board. And so what I'm saying is, if instead of them trying to take all of your guns, that they were just trying to implement this 72-hour waiting period, and that was it, and then they didn't push for any more regulation, would you say yes to that? So we'll do 72-hour waiting period only, and no more gun control. What say thee? Yes or no? Answer that. This one's for you, and Beretta brand too.
Beretta's a brand. They're definitely not bad.
I've heard some good things.
Yeah,
about
they were before the I think it's the Glock now that's like the main weapon in the military, but the Beretta M9 used to be the main weapon of the U.S. military.
I mean, if it's in video games, it can't be that bad, right?
Oh, trust me, it's pretty bad.
So Jeff says high points aren't crappy. They don't break very often, just not the best overall, but tougher than most handguns. I own high points and much more expensive. I can't diss the high points. Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's not that they break; it's that they jam after a mag because they don't like the gases all stay, and all the oil and dirt stays inside the gun. So then it's super gummy and it just jams really bad.
Well, that's why you gotta clean your guns, people. Clean your guns. Opus says, make whatever gun laws they want. Just use the process set in place to amend the Constitution. That is the law. At the end of the day, I do 100% agree with you that if it was the will of the people for them to change the Constitution, then I don't have dictator powers. I'm not a dictator. I live in a democratic republic, and if that's what the people want, then I have to abide by that. But that's not what they're doing. By executive order. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, Zig says a micro Uzi is my favorite. Sounds like playing GTA over there. Jefferson says Beretta is a great pistol. The Model 92 is now made by third parties. So is that like, I'm trying to think of like a technology type of
it's
analogy.
Like if you imagine like so a Model 92, like all those pistols like that are exactly like that, that'd be like an iPhone 1 and iPhone 2. And then like when you go to like a different type of pistol, that'd be like the iPad. Like if you're talking about technology.
Right. But I'm saying, I'm trying to think like, because right now they have the I'm thinking of like the early Nintendo game emulators. I don't really know I don't know if that's legal. I just know it's easy enough to do, so people do it. But stuff that like where it's that it looks like a Super Nintendo like NES. It has like a million games, but it's not actually sold by Nintendo.
Yeah, like it loses its it's like a trademark. It's like it loses its like after it's been like in use for a while, like after the patent's up. Like I forget what the date is exactly on how many years that is, but after that's up, then people can use it. Like that's what happened with Glock. Like the Gen 3 Glock design was like out of date, so now a bunch of companies make cheaper versions of them that are just as good.
Word up. All right. Any last minute votes on the poll? I know we have 7 people here, 6 votes. All right. Ending the poll. 67% said, or 66% said no. That's very interesting. I want to hear why you guys say again.
Shall not be infringed.
I understand, but this is why it's a compromise. This is the compromise. The idea that if you're not going to compromise, they have the institutional establishment power behind it. So if they keep pushing for this, you don't know that they're not going to win, whether or not it says in the Constitution that they can't do that. they can do that. I think, I mean, when it comes to, theoretically, I agree with you. There should be, like, shall not be infringed. I specifically stopped the whole thing to say that before, but I'm just saying it would be an end to anyone ever trying to come take your guns. And call me a bitch, but I think that's a decent way to go. MJ says, and add to the poll that you have to show ID to vote, and that voting is on one day. Then yes.
I don't
that's
think
a very different question.
I don't
but,
think voting should be on one day.
I do. Absolutely.
You think it should just be one day?
It should be one day, federal national holiday. Nobody works. Everybody goes into a physical office with a piece of paper and a physical ID. That is how voting has always been done and should always be done. And
Well,
we
it's
can
not
still have the absentee ballots that you apply for. Because remember, before 2020, you could always vote early, but you had to apply, and so they would know where the ballots are going because you had to request it. For 2020, they just sent them out to everybody. So that's how so much. Oh, well, we can talk about the fraud now. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you recently just talked about this on your channel, didn't you?
Yeah, too bad the freaking video didn't upload, and I don't know where the hell it went in my computer. So now I
Oh
gotta
no!
find it.
All right, well, why don't you give us a little rat-tat-tat right now?
So, pretty much what I was going to talk about in my video, what I did talk about in my video, is that people talk about 2020, and they talk about how the election was rigged and all that. But people need to stop talking about the riggedness, because now people think, oh, we're going to win now because we're doing the same strategies. But it's going to be the same thing that happened to Hillary Clinton. What could happen to Trump now is all the Democrats thought Hillary Clinton's going to win. I don't need to go in and vote. I don't care. So Trump won. And then you could see when Biden came in, yeah, there was a lot of fraudulent things happened, but a lot of people did vote for Biden just because they didn't want Trump in office. And they thought, yeah, there's a chance we're going to lose. So people need to stop caring about the 2020. And then also they're going to use the reason why they switched the ruling is because they're going to use it if they lose in 2024. They're going to use it to go against Trump because they think they're going to lose.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that has a lot to do with maybe not specifically the fraud aspect of it, but thinking it was already in the bag. That is 100% how Trump won in the first place.
Yep.
Not that he didn't have the support, but people just assumed that it was in the bag for Hillary. I remember sitting with my roommate at the time, watching the thing, hoping for Hillary. Fucking moron I was. Hoping for Hillary.
Stupid.
And I had the New York Times open, and it said 98% sure that Hillary was going to win. Incredible. Zig says the government proved we can't give them too much power. Facts. Yes, 2A is an absolute. I agree. I'm not. It was just a hypothetical, guys. It was a hypothetical. Jesus. Oga says if we compromise on gun laws without amending the Constitution, I never said we didn't. We weren't going to amend the Constitution. You put that part, not me. Then it sets a preciseness or a precedent. Is that what you mean, a precedent? To do it again in regards to any part of the Constitution. So I mean, I hear you, but that's really what I was asking, is that if we went through the proper way about it, and they changed the Constitution to say that shall not be infringed, but need 72 hours or whatever, and then they would just stop with any gun control at all. I think that would be a better way. Hey, we got Jersey Shore Extracts in the building. Shout out. Shout out to Jersey Shore Extracts for always coming through with them extracts. Jersey Shore says, I'm not so sure with DeSantis, and now Pence is also running. Yeah, I don't think either of those things are going to matter, because DeSantis does not seem to be holding up the fire that he had for COVID. It seems like he was a star burned out and now he's fading away. Pence, I mean,
Pence.
what? That's how I feel about Pence.
I'm from the state he was the governor of, and
Okay.
no one liked him here.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason he was the not right now, but I do have some and I love it because I quit coffee and it is dope. I actually put it in my protein shakes and I make a little mixture. It's dope. Hey, we got C-Bomb in the building. What is good? What is good? Shout out to Free Tacos. Shout out to C-Bomb. Shout out to Free Tacos. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party. So Oprah said, sure, I wouldn't have to like any gun laws, but if they went through the process and amended the Constitution, then I would accept it. That's all I was asking. That's all I was asking. Let's HTTP. Tacos.tv. Go check it out if you dare. If you dare. Let me know if that's not the right link.
I've been in the server. It's a pretty chill place. UFC nights on Saturdays.
All day, every day. So Jeff said, regardless of the Constitution, 2A is inalienable. I won't let anyone take my firearms without a fight. It's not for me, not ego. It's for my children and my grandchildren. There you go. There you go. Now MJ's hungry. Go on and get some. Go on and get some. You got it. Joseph said, gotta run. Sweet stream. Thank you so much for hanging out, brother. You have a fantastic night. Take care. Take care. All right, guys. So, yeah, I think obviously that lady's crazy. Obviously that lady's crazy. And I am not trying to, kind of inch towards her position and be like, well, what if we give you all your guns? But no. I'm just saying we have to understand that politics is a game. Thank you, MJ. Politics is a game. And, we're laughing at this woman for, having the idea that like, oh, I should get whatever I want. We're laughing at her, yet we're also saying, no, I want what I want when I want it. Now you are backed up, and we are backed up by the Constitution. That is nothing to scoff at. However, we have to live in the country with people like this. Unfortunately, that's facts. And they are not going to stop. So if you want them to stop, then you have to find some middle ground. You have to be willing to give up some of what you want to keep what actually matters. Because again, you don't know that they're not going to be able to pass this sometime in the near future when the landscape is a little bit different. Right now, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Crazy bitch, ain't gonna happen. We do not have to worry about her. But who knows what the landscape's gonna look like in 5 years, in 10 years? I mean, would you ever? I mean, maybe you personally are a little bit too young, but would you guys have ever imagined that Donald Trump would not only be president, but he would be a good president? You would not. There is no way. There is no way.
So the Simpsons did.
Simpsons did it. Is that I think that's from The Simpsons, is it? I don't know. But
probably.
So Jeff said Iraq veteran 8888 did a good breakdown on the cause of death issue and why it's flawed. Cool. Then you should drop a link in the Discord server so we can talk about it. Zig says handguns were banned in the UK until 1997. That's still recent. Yep. And I mean, has the murder rate gone up?
Yeah.
Probably not. And you all right, so let's see.
Since they banned guns, I bet you it's gone up.
Has the murder rate in the UK gone up since 1997? Oh yeah, but I mean, we also have to look at so we'll look at 1990 all the way to 2023. Can we get a so we have so 97 is here.
Ziggs, they also have got acid bath.
Those
acid buckets.
So we're down as of 2018, down 7.5% from
7%.
From the previous year. But this was at 1.2, and this is per 100,000. How many deaths? Right? Yeah. How many deaths in general? So we're not talking about means. Just somebody murders another person. In 1997, it was 1.48. And right now, today, it is 1.2. There was a spike in 2002. And then, from 97 to 98 went up a tiny bit. And then from 2000 to 2002 was a bit of a spike, but then it came back down. And then it's been going down pretty much ever since. And then, of course, I was thinking that was going to be more recent, but 2014, we saw another spike, but now it's coming down again. So you are wrong. Oh, my goodness. A 420 from our boy C-Bomb. And, of course, every single super chat comes with a treat for Morty. Thank you, C-Bomb. Very, very, very much appreciated. Thank you.
To counter the ban on pistols, so like, what about Chicago? When did Chicago ban firearms? And crime rate is still going up. And
well, that's because they are not they're not using any less guns. It's just now all the guns are illegal. Oh, wrong one. I mean, the fact is as we I think it was Ziggs, but so yeah, there exactly, violent crime went up as a whole, and we have the thing here. We don't know exactly what the factors were here, but we would expect that from 97, if it was just about guns, then all the guns are banned here. Then we have guns are allowed. You would expect it to shoot way up. And it just hasn't. In 2014, it was below 1 death per 100,000. For every 100,000 people, there was not even 1 death.
Oh, I wonder if Chicago, like, they just had like 50 people a day dying in Chicago since the mayor. Yeah, it was like something crazy. It was like on a holiday. And since like 2 days, like for 3 days, it was 50 people died every single day in Chicago.
Fucking Chicago, man. Well, here we go. Jeff has a good line here. Don't compromise. Don't be the old guy that looks back and realizes that compromise only befits tyranny. I think there is place for compromise. I think there is place for that. You just have to be very particular. And I would not suggest that the Second Amendment is a place to have that compromise. However, to say don't compromise, you know who else doesn't want to compromise? This bitch.
So this is of June 5th. Chicago shootings, 46 shot, 9 fatally in the weekend across the city. Yeah. 46 people shot, 9 were fatal.
As of when?
In 1 weekend, last weekend in Chicago, 46 people.
Hell no.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And then MJS, how many people had guns in the UK in 97? How many are left, i.e. possibly illegal in the UK? Another good question. But I do, Jeff, I think that is a very strong and admirable position on its face, but there has to be nuance. We don't live in a dictatorship. And so if you're not the one in power and everybody's like, no, we're not compromising, then you lose. And guess who has more institutional power than you or me or Melty? She does. So you can say don't compromise because it befits tyranny. But it's not that simple. There are places where you should hold the line. Absolutely. When it comes to this trans stuff with the kids, fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You're not transing the kids. No compromise there. But when it comes to gay marriage, I have no fucking issue at all with that. You love a dude, you like putting it in a dude's ass, go ahead and put it in a dude's ass, as long as it's not mine. just as I used to say, there's a place for compromise. The condition of the nation is the fault of good people. Again, I agree, but I don't think that negates the need for compromise. I think we need to come together, work together, and like not compromise in the sense that we need to give up our values to placate them. But we both need to say, okay, these are my values, these are your values, this is the space in between, and this is where actual real life happens. So you can stay online and stay in your echo chamber and do, you know, whatever, listen to the people who are going to tell you exactly what you want to hear and stay out of the real world. You have that choice. But if you want to engage with the real world, if you want to be a real person and you actually want the future to be better, then looking at the other side of the aisle as your enemy is not a good way to go. Sounds pretty black-pilled, man. Jersey Shore Extract says that's because law-abiding citizens are not allowed to have guns in Chicago.
Bingo.
100%.
Only the criminals. Exactly. And yeah, they made the public take a side, anti versus pro on everything. That is the state of culture. Culture and politics have become one and the same because we got bored. People wanted to bring, I don't know why, but everything. And I honestly do think it started with Trump, but I think Trump was way more of a symptom than anything else. But between Trump and COVID lockdowns, there's no way that everybody wasn't going to be about, all up in politics. There was nothing else to do. There was nothing else happening. Yep. Divide and conquer. All right. So, I mean, you know, the carrying industrial complex, that's going to take us all down.
That's
for
racist.
Sure. It is. Technically, it is. As much as Cracker's racist, Karen's racist.
Hey.
It's not that big of a deal.
Luckily,
but
we're
it
not
is
on
racist.
Twitch.
Yo.
Did you hear about that?
I was just watching a video.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah, what happened with that?
So on Twitch, you cannot. So 1/3. There's a video. I could pull up this. The graph really shows exact. So 3% of your screen, like this guy showed the video of what 3% of your screen is. Like literally, my finger. I'll put it on the camera. This, like right here, is what is in between my fingers is what you can have as advertisements on your screen now as a streamer. So like, let's say you have a G Fuel sponsorship and you need your code. You can only have your code that big on the screen, and that's where all your advertisements have to be. And so now the only ways you can really get money through advertisements now is by streaming the games, getting sponsored for streaming games, showing the product for like a couple seconds on your webcam, but you cannot have it on your screen, like on your stream full time, because Twitch is not making money off that deal.
So there you go. We have that's a perfect example of now we have a situation where is that better than a different compromise? If they're taking away everything that allows you to get the resources that you need on Twitch, it's advertisements. In real life, we're talking about guns. Is it not better? Obviously, ideally, whether it's guns, you can have whatever gun you want. You don't need a license or a permit, or you can conceal carry. On Twitch, you can advertise whatever you want. But is it better to fight to be able to have everything and get nothing, or to find a middle ground?
Well, here's the difference with that is people can just jump ship from Twitch and go to Kick or go to YouTube or what is it, Kick TV or whatever it is now. I forget, but there's like a new streaming site for the gambler streamers that got kicked off Twitch for gambling, but they made a streaming service. So now people are just going to jump ship and go to other streaming services if they can't make their sponsors happy, because that's how they're making majority of their money. A lot.
Okay, but let's stick with the analogy though, because there is no other America. There might be other streaming platforms, but there is no other America. So yes, in that situation, you can go where the money is. But in our situation, with the idea of compromising on our gun rights, is it better? Is it better to compromise a little bit, or let me attack it from this way. So if you were to say no, I won't compromise because the situation that you're presenting is not realistic, that they would not stop. That it will, what Ziggs was saying, even though I set up the hypothetical that they would stop. If you're to say to me, I mean, I get what you're trying to get at, that a little bit is better than nothing, but that's an unreasonable hypothetical to say that if we were to give that ground and say, okay, fine, you can have this one little piece of gun control, as long as you promise that that's it. That obviously that's not going to be it.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with the compromising, is that we've compromised before and that wasn't it. And then they say, we don't want to ban all guns. We just want to ban every single gun besides one that's almost unusable by man-made, like by man.
Yeah.
And then we'll eventually ban that one.
Okay, so that's why. So then that's a big separation, and Jeff is saying the same thing. Can't compromise rights. It just doesn't work. Never has. Never will. Been around and in politics too long to believe otherwise. So that's why it's a hypothetical. So let's say I'm from the future. I'm from the year 2050, and in 2025, they some Democrat came forward, and the only gun control they wanted was a 72-hour hold on all purchases. Giving you pass a background check, but that is it. And as long as they have that 72-hour hold, then they change the Constitution, and there can be no updates. Or let's say that were to be the case. Is that not better than being in this constant struggle?
It depends where if I'm in I agree. If I was in a place if I was in California or something like that, and my state said, we just are going to put a hold on, instead of how things are right now, where you literally can't have a gun. But where I'm at right now, that's not what my struggle is. The only struggle I've got is that I can't get a fully automatic weapon.
Right. So that's when we take it into the remember we always talk about the ideal versus the realistic and the most practical. There's 3 different levels of how shit plays out. The ideal is that we have all guns, no restrictions, end of story. The most practical is probably something too restrictive. And so we're looking for the realistic solution where it gives the most people what they want, what they need, and but attends to the discomfort or whatever bullshit of the people who have an issue with. Jeff says 40 years ago, Mr. Rogers warned us about trans and child sex changes. He said, "Don't compromise." We did, and look where we are. All right. I mean, that's a good argument. I don't have an argument for that. So when it comes to the ideal, compromise, sure. When it comes to the realistic and the practical, no compromise. All right, Melty, I want to thank you so much for coming to help me out with this one. I am not the best with guns, so I need your help, and you definitely did indeed, along with you guys in the chat. Why don't you tell, for free tacos, shout out to free tacos one more time. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you can be found, and what the hell you do?
You can go check me out on YouTube. I talk mostly political content at Melted Mind Media. Also, check out my Twitter at Melted Mind Media. And I'll catch you guys there.
Boom. And I just dropped that link in the chat for you guys. Definitely go check out Melted Mind Media if you want to hear about what was it, the 2020 fraud. It's coming out soon. Hey, and to send us off, C-Bomb. Thank you so much for yet another. We got a good one for you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. All right. Melty, I'm going to drop you out. Thank you so much for hanging out. And I will catch you in Discord later. So thank you again, C-Bomb. Much appreciated. And everybody who contributed. And our sponsor, MJ. Thank you. Very much appreciated. So we had a lot going on with this crazy lady, and I don't know, who does she talk to? Who does she talk to that she got this far, and nobody was like, that ain't gonna work. Oh wait, somebody did tell her. I think the governor's office told her it's not gonna work. So where are her friends? Where is her family? Where are the people who are telling her, chill. This ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna work. I think she is there for publicity more than anything else. I don't know. If you guys disagree, definitely replay gang. Let me know in the comments below. Big shout out to all you guys in the chat. Zig says, bless the chat, bless the Lutch. I like that very much. And Jess says, let's put restrictions on the First Amendment. Hell no! Oh, wait.
Oh, hell
Make every social media user register and undergo review for extreme statements.
Oh, hell no.
I see where you're coming from. I get your point. I was just trying to, give a hypothetical, see if we could get them to stop. Would that be something we would want? But we don't. Fair enough. Thank you again so much, guys. I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. I know you could be doing anything, but you choose to come here, and that is not lost on me. And especially when we're talking about stuff that I don't really know that much about, it really, really, really helps when you guys come through, and it fucking warms my heart when you part with your hard-earned money. Shout out to Mark, shout out to Lars and Rune, shout out to MJ, and shout out to C-Bomb. And even if you're not able to, again, just spending your time here, that really, really means so much to me. Thank you so much, guys. And don't forget, we're heading over to Discord for the after party, just like every single stream. We're headed to Discord. There is a link in the description, and it's not just after the streams. We're hanging out there 24/7, and definitely also go check out the Free Tacos server as well. That link is in the chat up there somewhere. But thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed this one, and I enjoyed you guys helping me out. I learned a little bit. I hope you did too, and that's the way we party. Thank you again. Once again, this has been Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.